It's Wednesday, July the 3rd, 2024. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. Jeremy Lambert is here, as he always is. Soon he'll be even closer to me, and I don't know how to feel about that. Excited, scared, gonna put some extra locks on the doors in my apartment. You know, the whole nine. How you doing, Jeremy?
You're gonna put extra locks on, but you're still just like gonna let me in. So I don't know how those locks are gonna work.
Listen, as long as you're like flooding smoke underneath the door and then playing pulsing music, maybe just a single piano note, ding, ding, ding.
That's like Breaking Bad with the I forget his name, but he's in the chair and he has to keep tapping the button. Then he eventually explodes and he kills Gus Fring. Sorry, spoiler alert for everybody.
My God, that is the second reference to that show in 2 weeks for me on a wrestling program.
No, who else referenced it?
When I did Beyond the Bell with Zarian last week, we were talking about the idea of perception versus just good. I forget what it was. A-Shock had asked the question. It was something about something about like is the perception of AEW more important, or is the storytelling more important? And I basically, the way I explained it was when people were watching Breaking Bad, they weren't there for nobody was calling their friend and saying, you have to watch Bryan Cranston, he's such a great actor. They were calling their friends and saying, you have to watch the show because the stories are so good. And that was kind of the point I was ultimately making, was that in wrestling, and it's not just AEW, it's any company, while perception is important, the idea that your story is so strong that nothing backstage matters as much as the stories being told in front of you, that's what you're paying attention to. So second time we've made that Breaking Bad reference in 2 weeks. We're going to keep doing it. Once a week, we got to make a Breaking Bad reference.
I mean, I can do that. Love Breaking Bad. Don't talk about the perception of AEW. People get mad about that.
That's true. People do get angry about that, but it doesn't matter because we're here today and we got a lot to talk about. We got some AEW. Listen, it's Shark Week. Dynamite comes to the beautiful sunny beaches of Chicago at the Wintrust Arena. We'll do a Dynamite preview later on today, but we have a couple of guests that are going to join us throughout the episode. At 10:30, we're excited to welcome Kristara onto the show. She is the sweetest pea. You can see her at IWS Scarred for Life. That's this Sunday, July the 7th on Triller TV+. She's going to be challenging for the IWS Women's Championship, taking on Kat Creed, who's been on the show before, and of course Masha Slamovich, who has also been on the show before. So we're looking forward to welcoming Kristara at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, about a half an hour from now. And at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, big Ben Ortmanns is going to join us at 11:30. Like I just said, same thing. IWS Scarred for Life. He's part of a six-way, and he's threatening to bring a pistol with him because Minoru Suzuki did the same thing on a train recently, and then we'll ask him about it. We'll see if he's going to bring it, and we're not going to talk about it right now because I don't want to get us demonetized this early in the show. But maybe you want to monetize us. You can go ahead and do that, donating a super chat, any amount, get your question or statement right on the air, and of course the free 99 alternatives. Leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. Jeremy, there's a possibility that we might not be doing a show on Friday.
So, we're just going to talk about this on air. This is going to be riveting content here as people want us to talk about the mean beaches of Chicago.
Well, we can talk about the mean beaches of Chicago because, the Sharks are out in full force. And they're all going to just eat up the city of Chicago. Wintrust by the water. It's going to be really scary. It's just going to be sharks in the audience.
I hope so.
Big sold out show. That's what it's going to be. And it's just going to be people where you remember the Super Bowl when Katy Perry did the Sharks in the
everyone remembers the left shark.
Oh, well, some people don't remember it. But the point is,
they weren't alive for it then.
Exactly. They were children. Anyway, I wish people would come in their big shark costumes. Everyone should show up as Left Shark to AEW Dynamite tonight in Chicago. That's what you should do. Just show up in a big shark costume.
Okay, so Friday.
We should talk about Friday. Well, first, you want to talk about Thursday? That's going to be exciting. The tickets are in hand. We're going.
Oh, I'm excited. Johnny Knoxville, there's the teaser for him. Oh, yeah. This is the thing I'm most excited about, and the Hockey Hall of Fame.
So Jeremy and I are going on Thursday to the Sami Zayn comedy show, which is going to be fun. We're looking forward to that. Tickets are in hand. We're going to be there. The seats are good. Looking forward to it. And that's going to be fun. But Friday, so when all this Money in the Bank stuff started, I was told no media junket is planned because it's July the 4th. We want to give people time to be with their families, blah, blah, blah. And then that all changed during Monday's show. There is a media junket. So I'll be in attendance. I'm dragging Tim, kicking and screaming, back into the wrestling void. He's going to be behind the camera with me, producing me for that event, while Jeremy Lambert enjoys the amazing Hockey Hall of Fame, for which I got him 20% off. Thank you, Presto. And then the plan is to, I guess, do some editing and do some more stuff at GCW that night. But we kind of messed up our time crunch because the junket is during our show, or at least very close to it, without giving the times out. What do we do?
We have to do something. Like, I don't know if we do a show Friday. Coexisting's Friday afternoon, so that might be an issue.
We could rent a podcast space fairly close by and do a show. I do feel bad about Coexisting being at that time, and we would kind of step on them.
We can't. I can't go to Toronto. We can't literally be in the same place. I can't literally stay with you and us not do some type of show together. Like, that feels like it defeats some of the purpose.
It does. And Zeno Hour is saying ITW live from the media scrum. Problem is, Jeremy's not going to be at the scrum.
If I could be at the scrum, then that would be a possibility. But I'm not allowed in.
Yeah, I am the designated Fightful representative for the show. GCW, we're going to be dead on our feet by then. You got to understand. So I can speak for myself. I'm going to be up every single day at 6 a.m. doing, dad stuff, and then the day of, wrestling and media stuff. So don't know if that's going to be a post show will be doable. And plus, there's something else when they're breaking down the ring. We usually end up schmoozing anyway.
I thought about, after the Sami Zayn show. I don't know if that's possible.
Late. So late.
All this stuff's going to be kind of late. Like, we have to do a show, Joel. We have to.
Yes, you and I absolutely have to. We could do maybe Saturday.
Saturday could work. Because stuff has changed and we kind of have Saturday sort of free to where I think we could do something Saturday morning potentially.
We might have to get a studio for that one, which is not impossible. There are a couple of options. So maybe that'll be. So if a Saturday special in the weeds appeals to y'all. Oh, that's true. There is Grapsity. Why Solable makes a very good point. We would get, I wouldn't say, well, no, we get destroyed. Who am I kidding? Those guys are good. And they also go for 4 hours.
Well, that's why I said morning, like 10 o'clock, we're the lead in for Grapsity.
Oh, that's true. We could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that.
We're the morning show anyway, so 10 makes sense if we're just Saturday at 10 instead of Friday at 10.
This is the best production meeting we've ever had. Really, we're getting a lot done here. By the way, let's talk about WWE superstar JPJ over here.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. He's going to be joining. He's going from Boston to Toronto to come and hang out with us. Money in the Bank. Gets his videos plugged on WWE socials. Great of them to tag you.
Kind of.
Not. But he is a superstar. He's our superstar. Damn it. I'm glad you got that. I'm glad they credited you. They don't always do that, but it's nice when they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the maybe Saturday morning is the plan. We just got to find a studio that'll take us, because I think here would be a little bit busy at home. Maybe that's going to be.
We got to figure something out, because we have to do a show. I can't go there and us not do an actual show together when we are in the same room. That seems dumb.
Yeah, it seems very counterintuitive, especially considering the only time we can get away with that is when one of us is getting married, and both of us have already done that. So it's a bad excuse.
Yeah. We should invade. And Post is doing something that day in Toronto, right?
Yes, I thought about reaching out to John and Brandon Thurston about that one.
Oh, okay.
Thought about it. It's a timing thing.
Right.
That's the other, because I think their event is an afternoon. I forget. It's like a state of the media event. Oh, they've done this before.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Media sucks. Show over.
Pretty much. It's at 2 p.m. at Yuck Yucks, giving them free publicity.
On Saturday?
On Saturday.
Okay.
So it's going to be, Brandon Thurston's there, Pollock and Wei Ting, Stephanie Chase is going to be there, and Benno from Grapple Spotlight. So those are the panel members. Maybe you and I can sneak on the panel. You think you and I could moderate the panel?
No, I'd be terrible at that.
Maybe I should offer to moderate the panel.
You'd be good at moderating. I'd be terrible at it.
Oh, I would turn it into the most unofficial official conversation ever. Wrestling media, we all suck, right? What? I think that this particular conversation and the people on stage will be very honest, and I think it's going to be really good. It's just one of those things where you have to get them with a catchy title, and I love the idea of it. There's part of me that just sits there and says, I mean, we're all going to start with saying, yeah, media sucks, but then we're all going to come around and be like, maybe we're not so bad. And that's okay. Like, that's totally okay. As long as the conversation is useful, that's all I care about. I don't think anyone's going to be like spending their time shitting all over everyone else. It's just a really funny, like, the state of wrestling media. Like, some people are more invested in one thing than the other. It's interesting to me.
John will do a good job. Thurston always does a good job. Yeah. Stephanie will be very honest. I look forward to her comments.
Yes, she if nothing else, well, and she is very many other things. If nothing else, she would be very honest on this panel. I do like it when Stephanie stops by and chats about the state of wrestling, not just storylines, but also just the business and how people, act or don't act in this space. Sorry, I'm not going to read the comment, but it is very apt. We'll all be there for the cookout. It's okay. I'm not allowed to say that. I'm just not. Anyway, where should we go from here? What's let's touch on this real quick. The Mania doc drops tonight, 7:00 on YouTube. They did a 2-minute preview on Raw, which they've also shown before on socials. What do you think of showing that on Raw? And what do you look forward to on this WrestleMania doc?
I don't know. I'll be at Despicable Me tonight. I don't give a shit about this Mania doc.
You're just gonna be like, oh, that grew so despicable, while people are just tweeting at you, be like, Jeremy, did you see this documentary? It's amazing. They said all this stuff, and you're gonna be like, those kids love him so much, and he doesn't know how to react. He's just like us.
I'm supposed to go see the Despicable Me, so I have I'm not even watching Dynamite live, not watching this Mania doc. I'll tell you all about Despicable Me 4, though.
Get all the despicable lore and just sit there with us. Oh man, I should go see the movie too, so I'm caught up. This doc looks like something, man. There's a lot of silence in that preview that they showed. At one point, there was like a good 5 seconds of silence, which in TV is a lot of silence. And all of a sudden, like, it's the exterior shot, the drone shot of WWE headquarters. I remember watching this being like, my headphones just cut out? No, it was just silence. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you showing this on my TV? It's going to be, fun.
The thing is, Despicable Me actually ties in to this Mania doc, because The Rock held this thing hostage for 3 months now, right? Isn't that how long? 4 months. No, 3.
Well, it depends who you ask. 3
months. From April to July. That's 3 months. So The Rock held this thing hostage for 3 months. So Gru, that's actually how this all works, Joel. Gru and the Minions were the ones who got this documentary back for Triple H in WWE. They had to call on Gru, and they said, hey, The Rock's holding this thing hostage. He's in some secret lair somewhere in Hawaii out there with this documentary. After the Raw, after WrestleMania, when he went away, he took the documentary with him. We need you to get it. Triple H called, Nick Khan called, Mark Shapiro called. They all called and they said, hey, man, can you release this? And Rock just ignored all their calls, sent them straight to voicemail. And they said, you know what? You know what we got to do? We got to call on the one man who can save us and get this doc, Gru. So they called in Gru. They called in the Minions. And Gru and the Minions got the doc. For all of you, for all the fans, for all the wrestling fans out there, you can thank Gru and the Minions. And you can thank them by going to see Despicable Me 4, now in theaters.
Starring Despicable Dwayne. There's someone in the chat who said, here's a pitch. It's WrestleMania 40, but with Minions. Here's the problem with that. The Minions are such a 65 and over sending GIFs crowd that I cannot at all say it's a good idea. Just can't. You ever look on Facebook? First of all, don't. But for any of you who still use Facebook for any reason, I have an elderly parent, so I don't have a choice. People who send Minion, not Despicable Me, Minion GIFs drive me insane.
Wow.
Insane. Cannot do it. It is such a geriatric move. I can't. Listen, if I'm sending one on the internet, I'm just like, and one pops up, I'm like, nope, not going to do that. I do not need to show my age. If you send Minion GIFs, we got a problem.
What if that's the plot to Despicable Me 4, though? Like, I'm going there tonight to watch it, and like that's actually the plot. They got the WrestleMania doc, and then after they get it back, then I'll also see the WrestleMania doc, because that's the whole plot of the movie. They play it at the end of Despicable Me 4.
And that's why the doc took so long.
Yeah, because it had to line up with the release date of Despicable Me 4.
No, these WWE crossovers are getting to be too much. You got Drew McIntyre cutting promos about CM Punk while a beer logo shows up. You got, dude wipes during Drew McIntyre matches. You've got, I don't know, condoms are next. And then we got Despicable Me leading into a double feature of the WrestleMania documentary.
That'd be great, honestly.
And it's just them going, oh, like the Toy Story aliens.
You know what? If I didn't just come up with this, they would have completely stolen this if they could have. They would kill for that crossover.
I don't do many outside podcasts these days just because we do this show frequently, but I did Ella J's A Wrestling Gal Money in the Bank prediction show. We recorded it on Monday, and I gave the same spiel that I gave to this show about the Money in the Bank popcorn lunchbox and doing that at concessions. They loved it. It was myself, Ella J, and Alex, Queen of the Ring. They great all-time panel. You're gonna want to listen to this when it drops. We said some things, but anyway, we brought up the idea of doing the popcorn thing. Everyone was on board, and then we also got into a whole conversation about concessions giving refills, and I'm like, that's a whole bag of popcorn that we don't need to break into.
WWE got a crossover with Bojangles. I gotta go to the Bows and get one of these tag team cups.
I wanted to ask you about that. I was like, when you saw that, were you like, my Bojangles, or were you like, oh, I'm not going anywhere near the right Bojangles anytime soon?
Yeah, that's the only problem is I'm not. Like, I don't think on my way to Toronto I get any stops at the Bojangles. It could be wrong, but I don't think I do.
I doubt it. I feel like the further north you get, the further away from Bojangles.
There's some up here though. That's the thing. There's the one that's a few miles away that I could go to, but it's like Ohio Bojangles ain't real Bojangles. It's fake.
It's Bohio Jangles. We talked about this.
Yeah, it's not right.
You don't believe in Bojangles in Ohio, at least. We believed last night. We'll talk about that. It was a hell of a segment.
Monday.
Was that Monday? Whatever. Last night, the only thing from NXT that I really want to talk about was the stuff with Brooks Jensen, because they finally brought that story to light. Finally brought it out, and basically Shawn Michaels was like, he's drunk and we're going to talk to him about it. It's like, okay, we're going to have a face-to-face. There's me and Ava and Brooks Jensen. We're all going to talk about it. Like, is this, are you basically saying we're doing an intervention? Is this what we're doing?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is a very strange. Like we're going. You thought the WrestleMania doc was pulling the curtain back. We're gonna do this on NXT next week, and this is gonna be their "I'm so excited, I'm so scared" moment. Brooks Jensen is gonna cry his ass out of those caffeine pills.
more people should do this. Like, he's getting an opportunity here. Dijak screwed up. Dijak too busy talking to Sean, so he got himself released, or his contract not renewed.
Oh, don't you dare. People are going to take that and run with it as fact. They're going to be like, he confirmed it. If you
All he had to do was just show up.
Seriously.
All he had to do was show up unannounced on shows and just start causing havoc. He would have at least got on television. Instead, he just sat there and was on speed, talking to the sheets, brother.
So basically, he was on speed, but he never got his intervention from being on speed. I love how you're just like, he should get his retribution. I'm like, you should put the mask on, cause havoc.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe that was the answer.
That's what I was going for. I was going for the retribution shot there. Who is that? What? T-Bar is back. My God.
And Shawn Michaels will be like, we're going to call him T-Bizzle. And he can be HB Shizzle's long-lost cousin. That sounds terrible. Yeah, well, so does an intervention with Brooks Jensen, but we're doing it next week. King Potato saying he needs to raise the T-bar on his next run. I'm sure he's never heard that one before. He's wrestling tomorrow. He's wrestling at Beyond Wrestling. Yeah, that's right. Is that the American Rana show, or is that a different show? American Rana. That's American Rana. Good for him. Listen, good to see Dijak really like jump back into it. I know he's doing a couple of indie appearances. I know he's doing a seminar as well that he's excited to do. It's good, man. We talked about it on our show. This is a guy who has a lot to give to the wrestling industry and has learned a lot over the times that he's spent doing major television wrestling with major televised wrestling companies. He's got a reason. He's got a reason to be up there telling people, what works and maybe what doesn't. Rebar is a good name. Rebar is a good name. Would he carry it around with him too, or is that a little too on the nose? That's his weapon of choice, is rebar. We're like, what is that corkscrew? Oh my God, that's rebar. Hey, that shit don't break. Oh yeah, he's gonna be on Busted Open, but we don't talk about that. I don't have to transcribe all of that, so it's fun. Yeah, from now on, it's like Dijak's gonna be on. He did 90 minutes. We're good. Yeah. What's he gonna talk about from those that wasn't already talked about in the 90 minutes? Maybe he'll make a good joke. Other than that, someone else can do that. We did 90. We're good. There's an NXT media call in like a half hour. I heard about that last night. Yeah. Someone better ask Shawn Michaels about this intervention and see if Brooks is going to be available. Have you heard back from Brooks Jensen about this intervention, Sean? Yeah, has he accepted this? He got invited, but like, is he accepting? That's a great question. Ava, we spoke to Ava. She's on board with it. We don't know about Brooks, but we've spoken to his family. His dog said that they're going to do it, but we don't know about him. Next question. Yeah, Shawn Michaels. That wasn't bad. Oh, sorry. You just got to do a deep voice with a little bit of twang. Yeah. It's not bad. I was listening to a random podcast that they were trying to explain the Dijak interview. By the way, and this I was half shouting at my phone and half laughing. Thank you. Heartbreak Krusty. That's a good one. Decent HPK. Thank you. Once in a while I get it right. Anyway, I'm going to play a video in a minute from an old episode of Newsworthy that we should. Anyway, the idea, they were talking about the Dijak interview. And at one point they made reference because they were talking about the Mercedes and Stephanie Vaquer match. They got confused and thought that the Mercedes that Dijak was talking about has having joined and then left Retribution. Oh. They thought for a second that it was Mercedes Moné. And I'm sitting there yelling at my phone, just being like, what are you doing? Why are you trying for this? But then they kind of figured it out, but then they didn't. It was a very funny moment. But yeah. Could you imagine Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks joining Retribution back in 2020? Everybody's acting all serious and like trying to destroy stuff. She's just dancing around it all. She got a chainsaw and she's doing the dance with it. It'd be great, actually. The boss of Retribution. Yeah. Honestly, that would rule. Like everyone's just like destroying stuff and she's dancing in the middle of it, just like so unserious. It'd be fantastic. I don't hate it. What mask would she wear? That's like,
Oh, it'd
that's
be
the one.
bedazzled all the shit.
It'd just be bling. Oh God, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would Mercedes Monet's name be in Retribution? It would just be like Monation.
No, it'd just be like boss. Just boss, all caps.
CEO. They'd be like, they make it like chief, I don't know, extreme officer or something like that. They call her the CEO.
It's boss, all caps. Dijak the informant. Oh,
I mean,
actually,
they basically did Dijak the undercover agent or whatever the hell it was.
yeah,
Like
he was like a criminal justice truther.
yeah, truther. I don't know if that's the word I would use, but sure. Oh,
he seeks truth in criminal justice. I don't know.
Guys, that's fair. Listen, I said I'd play it. I want to play an old from our sorry, from our old show Newsworthy. Remember?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Remember when I did a Triple H impression with the Helwani stuff? This is from a year ago. Can I play it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's play. Helwani was a big part of this weekend's events in Montreal. What was the process of bringing him in, and why did you pick him instead of another Montreal sports celebrity or Montreal media celebrity? So why not GSP? Why not Pat LaPrade? Why not someone else? Why Helwani basically? And I know Triple H would have been like, we have a great relationship with BT Sport. Ariel Helwani works for BT Sport, and he's great. And we love Ariel Helwani. He spoke to me a lot when I had my heart condition. He reached out to me, and he was great. We really appreciate the work that he does. He's very hardworking. When we presented this opportunity, he's a Montreal's native son, and he said that he wanted to be a part of it. So we said, let's go ahead, do that. And then we saw the tweet from Tony Khan, and we were like, well, fuck this. We're just going to put him out for the Yeah, I don't know why I wanted to play that. I just wanted to put up a Triple H impression from there. Yay! Thank you. Anyway, just in time for our guests to join in and feel like I feel so bad.
Sorry, she got subjected to that.
Yep, I feel bad too. Anyway, she's ready to give us a thumbs up. Joining us now, very excited to have her on. She's going to be facing Kat Creed and Masha Slamovich for the IWS Women's Championship this Sunday, July the 7th at IWS Scarred for Life on Triller Plus. We're joined now by the one and only, the sweetest pea, Kristara. Good morning.
Hi, everyone. I was like, what am I watching? I thought I was seeing things.
Yeah.
Well, it's Inception. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, you're welcome. How are you doing this morning? How are things going?
it's going good. Thank you. How about you guys?
Can't complain.
Doing well.
So let's get right into it. You're facing your bestie and another person. You're facing Kat Creed and Masha Slamovich for the IWS Women's Championship this Sunday at Scarred for Life. How are you feeling going into this match? What are you looking forward to the most? Talk to us about this match.
Yeah, so of course I'm very nervous. I mean, I wrestle Kat Creed like almost every weekend, but now we're adding Masha Slamovich, not, just anybody to the match. So that obviously okay, so we've done this match before, but now we have someone at that level in it. So how can we take it to the next level as well? So that's just what our minds are going through. We're practicing extra hard for this match because we know that it's a good spotlight. So we want to make sure that we both give our best. So yeah, I'm very excited because of course I've never been the IWS Women's Champion. So, to win in this match, that would be pretty cool.
In putting this kind of together, you mentioned you've been kind of practicing it a little bit, but largely with Katrina Creed, have you talked to Masha, and has Masha pitched anything of let's do this crazy thing? And this match?
So honestly, the day of, that will probably be the first time I ever meet her, and we'll probably figure that out that day. So that's going to be exciting to see how it goes.
Now, how will you feel if she decides that she wants to call the spots in Russian?
I guess I got to learn some Russian,
How is your Russian? Is it any good?
Well, I don't know any, but I'll get on my Duolingo this weekend, I'll do my best. Yeah. And I'm sure even if she calls it in Russian, I'll understand clothesline or something, right? Wrestling is universal in that sense.
That's fair.
Yes.
The one thing about this show is we have a lot of guests, and also this is a good opportunity to do some tape study. Kat's been on the show, Masha's been on this show, now you've been on the show. I implore all three of you to watch each other's interviews and understand that nothing that was talked about today is going to be useful, but you might actually laugh a little bit. But talk to me about your history with Kat and working with her, because she's, like I said, she's been on the show. We know a little bit about her. We want to learn more about you, and we'll start with your history with her.
So honestly, like when I first started going to the IWS dojo, Kat was like one of the few girls that was there. So I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like every time she'd come to practice, I wanted to work with her. Like I don't even think she knew that, but it was just a bunch of dudes and they were all very nice, but you wanted to work with, people a little bit more like you. So once like we both started wrestling, it was cool because then we got to like kind of grow together. And within the last year, we've been working on a lot of the same shows. We've had a lot of car rides. We've gone to the States a lot together because, it's just easy to be like, oh, well, she works this, I work this other style. We're kind of like a little package thing. So it's like we kind of go to like every different town in like Quebec and Ontario, and we run, matches. And it's a lot of fun to grow together because then you think to ourselves, oh, well, this worked, or I didn't like this time, this ring was a little different. So like we kind of like learn that way because we're doing the same match. So like, oh, why it didn't work better here and it worked better there. So that's kind of cool to have someone to kind of like shoot things back at each other.
You feel any extra pressure being on a big show like this? I know you've done the uneffing sanctioned show, which is another big IWS show, but Scarred for Life, one of the bigger shows, and then big weekend with obviously WWE being in town, GCW coming into town. Do you feel any extra pressure with this one?
Definitely, because this one I'm walking in as an individual. This is like the women's match, right? So I want to represent the school as well, really well, because a lot of people are looking. And like you said, like WWE's in town, but also they're shooting for the documentary, like IWS is a documentary. So that's another thing. Like, I don't want to be like something bad happens and then like it's a part of the documentary or something, or, I just want it to be all positivity. So there's just like so many different eyes that are not normally there filming. And I just have to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's, not that I'm not, but
On the other hand, if something does happen,
yeah,
you can almost guarantee that it makes it into the documentary.
Exactly. Like it'll be captured. It'll be kind of cool to watch back because you don't really notice everything happening around you. So that'll be cool.
You've mentioned that you're doing this as a solo act, whereas normally you've been tag teaming, and one of your tag team partners has been Alex Mays and done Amazingly Sweet. Talk to me about working with him. He's a wonderful dude.
Yeah, so it's amazing. It's amazingly sweet to work with someone like him because you just have someone that you're going out there with, and you have each other's back. Like I know what he's doing, he knows what I'm doing, and even when we're building the match, we're on the same wavelength. So I have someone like kind of looking out for me, and I can look up for him. But in this match, I'm by myself, so it's a little bit different. Like I have to show that I can do it myself, type of thing, So that'll be fun. I'll be happy to watch him, and I'm sure he'll be happy to watch me. And yeah, we can show what we can do individually, which is always nice as well.
I know you might not know this until day of the show when you kind of see the format and the layouts and the match order and everything. But basically the main event of this show is Nick Gage and Crazy F and Manny. Yeah. There's no real worry about, hey, we might go too far and overshadow the main event because they're going to do the craziest things in the world. So does that give you a little bit more like, hey, we can go out here and kind of get away with anything because no one's going to be like, you took away from the main event by doing this, because you can't really take away from Nick Gage and Manny and what they're probably going to end up doing to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're going to have their style of match, and I don't think I'm going to be stepping on their toes doing, I don't know, a balcony spot or something randomly. Like, like sometimes at shows, the people will call their spots being like, I'm doing this one, don't do that. Like they don't got to do that because I promise you, no one's doing what you're doing, So yeah, like we could just have a competitive like wrestling match because, we have the title on the line. Like we have something different that we're fighting for, whereas they're fighting for like a little bit like respect, like the bragging rights, right? Whereas we're fighting for this championship. So it'll be a little less like trying to kill you versus like trying to pin you type match,
One of my my more favorite watches in wrestling these days has been mystery wrestling.
Yeah.
And you've been a part of at least 3 of those shows from my count. Talk to me. Let's talk about working mystery wrestling. Let's talk about Evil Uno and his kind of presentation of wrestling, because it's very different from what you would typically see on a traditional wrestling card. What's the mystery vibe like?
Yeah, so you really it's a mystery leading up to the show sometimes for the workers. You kind of don't know what's going on. You're showing up, that you're showing up, and you hope the person that you're going to wrestle is able to be there because, travel issues happen sometimes. So it's been a lot of fun. And funny you bring that up. I actually worked Kat Creed there on her first mystery. So we've wrestled each other literally everywhere. I've wrestled her. I wrestled Nicole Matthews, and I just recently wrestled Junior Benito, which it's like all like he brings together like all like the best wrestlers. So it's very cool to be a part of, because you get to see every different style. Like there's the comedy matches, which I don't know, I don't think I'm there yet, so I'll go have a competitive match. But then it's always fun to be backstage and watch those matches take place and be like, what's going on, But this is wrestling as well.
Now, hold on, you say you're not there yet. Can we see comedy Kristara? Yeah.
I guess so. Maybe I could be, but Cecil Nix is on another level, and Psycho Mike as well. Like those are the people you study, that I study when I'm looking at that type of stuff. So I'm not gonna try to do like their act on a show that they're on, but I'll respectfully be taking notes,
Doors and pillowcases. I get it.
Yeah.
You shared in a Twitter/Instagram post, social media post about this match, and talking about how much it kind of means to you, and you mentioned how you would go to TNA tapings as a kid with your mom. What are some of memories from that, and now kind of full circle wrestling, Masha?
Yeah, like it was just something I was just obsessed with wrestling, and my mom didn't like wrestling, but she would always go to me to any show. Like the thing that you're mentioning, I think I was at Disneyland. So I'm in Orlando. I should be going on rides. I should be doing stuff. But they were offering, like, it was at this time where you lined up locals and stuff like that, you can go see tapings. So we'd go every night. My mom and my sisters and my cousin, like, they were doing something else. My mom would come with me, and I got to see like a pay-per-view. Like she would bring me even when they came to town. I just have this fond memory of one time, I think it was a Kurt Angle versus Christian match. And of course they did like a Montreal Screwjob angle. So I was crying. I was really upset and I wanted to go home. And then I just remember the big, like, who wants to line up to meet Kurt Angle? And then we all got in line after like booing him. And like they took like the Polaroid picture. I wish I still had it, but I just remember that memory. Like we're all like, we hate you, Kurt Angle. And then they're like, you want a picture? We're like, yep. Like, that's just like one memory, because like they would just come and have fun. I think that was a house show, so they would just do like whatever they wanted type of thing, and those were always the best.
Can we put it out there in the ethos? Get you booked maybe July 2021.
I don't know, my calendar's free,
Calendar's free. TNA, if you're watching, I think we got someone who do a pretty bang up job on your show. Okay.
Even my mom was messaging me. She was like, they're in town. I'm like, how do you know?
That's actually a very good question. How does she know? TNA isn't always front of everyone's radar. So
exactly. But she knew TNA, and she literally messaged me being like, you remember memories? And I was like, you remember too,
Aww.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Yeah, because someone in our chat, Why Solo is here, often says behind every great wrestler is a confused but supportive parent.
She would be clapping in the crowd. She had no idea who they were, but I would make her clap like, no, we like that person, but she didn't know who anyone was.
Did you come from a sports background before wrestling?
I played like a lot of high school sports and stuff like that, but my mom she was always that type of person. Like she didn't play sports, but she was always the parent in the crowd or volunteering or coaching, even though she had no idea what was going on. She was going to be there to make sure that it was possible.
Okay, so she was a supportive parent.
Yeah,
always there. Yeah, we love that. Let's shift. Let's talk about Women's Wrestling Syndicate.
Yes.
That's the IWS Women's promotion. Lufisto is, of course, big part of that. Behind that, you wrestled Lou before, but let's also talk about the importance of women's wrestling and a company like Women's Wrestling Syndicate, which you have been a part of lately.
Yeah, it's important to create these spaces, because when we go to these shows, we look into the crowd and we see young women and they feel inspired. Like when I was a kid growing up, if I would literally watch shows, and if there wasn't women's matches, I wasn't tuning in. Like I would tune in just for the women because I related to them. So if it was like that for me, it's like that for other people. Like there were certain shows I'm sure were very good, but if there wasn't a women's segment, like it didn't pique my interest. So we need to like make that space for everybody. And a lot of shows, like at least locally in Montreal, there'll maybe be one women's match. And there's so many different type of women. And like to just have one women's match with two different women, you're kind of limiting yourself when we all bring different things to the table. So that's what I like about WWS, because there's like usually 6 matches and every match is very different. Even though we're all women, they're all very different because we're all different women, We're not all the same. So I really love it. I think the next show, I know the next show is August 9th. It's a Friday, so that's going to be fun, and I'll be there as well.
Someone who's on our show fairly frequently, Shane Hawk, Andrew. Say something nice about Shane Hawk, because he's a very kind man, and we like to give him his flowers and put him over.
Yeah, he's the type of guy. Whenever you need him, he's like just a text away. You can ask him. He'll know what you're doing. Like you're at a show, you'll message him, hey, I'm going through this, and he'll be there and he'll walk anyone, like every student through it. And not everyone can do that, right? Because it's very difficult. Like you have your hours at the dojo, but his hours very much extend outside of it into his personal life. And he doesn't have to do that, but he does it out of the kindness of his heart because, he tries to create what he wish he had. So I love that about him, because then it makes me and others want to do the same as well.
Okay, now bury him. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, don't get me started. No, I'm kidding.
I think everything you're saying about him is absolutely on point. And also you've done a lot of training with him and Speedball in the IWS dojo. Talk about the importance of that dojo, because for a lot of young wrestlers who are trying to come up and looking for a reputable school, what makes the dojo your choice?
So it's just a place where, there's a big schedule. It's growing now. So like there's a lot of days that you can go to. And for me, it was a big money thing why I didn't start wrestling. It was very hard. So there's a month thing, which is a little bit easier for people. And they're always usually understanding. You can work something out with them. So that's like a big thing, because wrestling is pretty expensive for people that are young. And even when you start wrestling, like you have no money because all your money is going into wrestling. So they just really make sure they do everything they possibly can to just make it possible for you. And then once you're there, everyone's so nice, like just supporting each other, sharing each other's things. And yeah, and it goes beyond wrestling. It's like, okay, let's learn how to wrestle, but let's learn how to eat healthier. What are we doing? There's a lot of people that are personal trainers. There's a gym at the school. Like there's a lot of students that come to wrestle and they walk out and they look transformed, like mentally, but also physically, because we're all like encouraging each other, not competing against each other, but like helping each other, like using our resources to just be better people, just better wrestlers, but better people as well. So, yeah.
So before we let you go, we have a little game that we like to play on the show. It's called Partner, Promo, or Punch in the Face. Sounds pretty straightforward. You're going to pick, out of the 3 people I name for you, you're going to pick one person that you would partner with in a tag team match, one person you'd have a promo with in the ring on the microphone, and one person you'd punch in the face singles match style. And here we go. You ready?
Okay.
All right. We're taking Shane Hawk and Speedball and Lufisto, and you have to pick partner, promo, punch in the face.
Oh my God. Okay. Partner, promo, punch in the face. Okay. I think I would partner with Speedball because I have tagged with him before, and I'm very inspired by his style, so I'd partner with him. I feel so bad. I would promo with Shane Hawk because everybody knows that he's a great promo. Like that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. He's known for that. Not that others aren't. And I can't lie. I'd want to punch Lufisto in the face because, it's just so much fun. And I like when she punches me in the face too. So it's not a bad thing,
So you see, in this hypothetical, you'd still have to bury Shane Hawk.
I should have punched him in the face, eh? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, listen, you could. IWS presents Scarred for Life. You could do that on July the 7th. That's a Sunday. It's on Triller Plus. If you're in Montreal, you can go to the show, but you can also catch Kristara and Kat Creed and Masha Slamovich fighting for the IWS Women's Championship. There's so much more on the card. Go check it out. Kristara, before you head off, can you plug everything else you need to?
Yeah, so you can catch me there on July 7th, and you can follow me on my social media at _Kristara. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube, where you can catch some like little things I make of my matches.
The one and only Kristara, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Kristara, she's the sweetest one, is right. She's the sweetest me. It's true. We appreciate her joining us this morning. I can speak. I promise I can.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her that her intro was here's a clip from a year ago where we're doing a bad Triple H impression, but she was a good sport about it. She's a lot of fun.
I'm here for bad impressions. That's basically how we built our brand, Jeremy.
Yeah, true.
We're always, what is it with people wanting to punch Shane Hawk in the face and then bury him on the microphone?
That's why I tried to, get some nice stuff out there about Shane Hawk. You're the one now asking for people to bury him. What's wrong with you, Joel?
Only because I love him so much. I look forward to seeing him We're gonna see him this weekend.
He's the nicest man in the world. That's why I like to have nice things said about him. We are going to see him this weekend. I'll bury him there.
There's one question I'm actually surprised you and I both didn't ask, and that is Kristara did her debut for Beyond Wrestling on Wrestling Open not too long ago. And I'm surprised we didn't get into that with her.
Yeah, I saw that on the old cage match there, and didn't feel like the conversation was going that way, so I did not bring it up.
It was on the same show where Alex Mays, her tag team partner, and Kat Creed, her opponent at IWS Scarred for Life, also made their debuts. Love to see it, but it was great. Really happy to have Kristara join us for this chat. Big Ben Ortmanns going to join us at 11:30. He's in a 6-way match. It's a 6-way scramble. That's going to be a fun one to talk about because he's got some ideas that, well, let's just say we'll let him talk about it. They're not safe for life if he gets to get through with that idea. It's dangerous.
Oh,
idea. Yeah. This is what he did on Twitter. I don't know what he's thinking, but let's talk. Where should we go from here? We did the Mania Doc stuff. That's fine. Do we talk about Wyatt's or do you want to talk about Thumbnail?
We can just talk about Raw in general, I guess.
Sure. I finished watching Raw this morning.
Okay.
Good for me. Because I missed the first. I watched the first hour and then I had to go record with Alex, Queen of the Ring, and Ella J, of course, like I mentioned earlier. So I had a chance to go back and actually see everything properly. It was a pretty good Raw. There was some really strong stuff. Go home for Money in the Bank. Boston was excited to be there.
Too much wrestling.
Too much wrestling on the wrestling show. Did you get your stopwatch out?
No, I'm not that kind of dork.
Well, then clearly there wasn't enough wrestling on the show for you. But there was some really good stuff. The Wyatt stuff. Let's touch on that real quick. So we do the Nikki Cross thing. This all starts because I had to do yeet. Could you push the video with the just Jey Uso comes out and he just does that a bunch.
Hold on. He called it Mun Yeet in the Bank.
I saw you pop for that.
Mun Yeet in the Bank, and then he had Yeet Case a couple of weeks ago.
The Yeet. Thank you. The Yeet Case is such a better idea, but calling it Mun Yeet in the Bank, I just sat there. I was like, I saw your tweet and I just laughed at it.
He rules so much. So much. Jey Uso is the absolute best. I don't think he's going to win on Saturday.
No, but they've done a little too much.
He should. Put the world title on this dude.
Just insanity. And then you call him Uncle Howdy.
Call him Unc. Unc can have that. He can have the fireflies. I'll take some mosquitoes, some cockroaches. Oh, dude, he's fantastic.
Chad Gable had come out at this point and he's basically saying, I'm not afraid of anyone. And then no one can kill me. The same stuff as before. And then, of course, Jade does what were we just talking about, right? The Wyatt's coming after you. And this all ends with, Nikki Cross or whatever she's playing at this point coming out and delivering another beat up Amazon box video cassette. It couldn't be a laser disc this time, huh? Well, they got to change it up. Every time it should be some new, but like a mini DV video, something like that. Every time it should be something new.
Well, the horror shot that they did, were you a fan of this, Joel, as a production guy, with the silhouettes as Chad Gable was walking through the I guess just gorilla, not really the gorilla area, just the crowd area, I guess is all it was.
It's the production lane area that he was walking through, and then he walks across the stage. And actually, I like the way that they shot it because that area is visible, but it's walkable. So like it was just, I thought it was shot very well, and I like the way that they had the silhouettes. There was another thing that's been pointed out to me, and I was thinking about this: the fog machines. They're making it very clear that those fog machines are there and they're supposed to be there. They're not hiding it from you. They're not making it feel like it's nothing. They're making it feel like someone is actually going out of their way to do these production elements instead of being like, oh, it's spooky. It's the mind games are being just shown to you. And I think that's okay. As long as they're not going to get too funky with it, I'm all right with it. So Chad Gable does see all of the apparitions, and then he winds up running up the stairs, and that's it. And Nikki presents the laser disc, the videotape once again, and Michael Cole's like, yeah, all right, this shit again. Let's get it to the truck. This point, he's just like, this isn't scary.
At least they knew. At least they knew to bring a VHS player with them this week.
Yeah. This time they didn't have to go to the local pawn shop and set it up through the truck. Could you imagine being the one guy in the back? They run the tape to you the first week, and they're like, "Hey, we got a video cassette," and they're just like, "You got a what?" Yeah, can we play it? We got to play it. It says play me, and it was a spooky thing. And then they're like, all right, call the intern, call the writer's assistant. He's got to get in his car, got to go to the local pawn shop. It's 10 o'clock at night. Everything's closed. You got to call the local pawn shop number, hope that they can open up for you, pay you double whatever you would for a bloody VHS machine. But now that machine forever will be the Wyatt VHS. It's been enshrined in the truck.
It's going to keep bringing it with them, make sure it's on the weekly checklist of things that they need to bring to the arena. All good.
Could you imagine they just bolt it down? It's not going anywhere, at least for the next 6 weeks. On the 6th week, they're like, oh, we got another tape. So anyway, they get the tape, they play the tape later on in the show, as they do. And it's another Bo and Uncle Howdy segment. And they do some really interesting editing with it. And the way that it ends is the two become one. And the character is no longer the alter ego. The alter ego and the character have now merged. This was done. This was created. That's the whole point. That's why I like this, is that the idea of the presentation here is that it was created. Yes, it's weird. Yes, it's a little indie art house, but it's not spooky. Oh my God, this person split in two. No, it's very much, we made this, we edited this. You need to understand what we're doing. Yes, it's a little lore based, but it's wrestling at the same time. So you can kind of let it go. I like the way that this went. I was a little nervous when I saw they're doing the tape again, and then it turned out to be Howdy and Bo again. And we talked about the idea of doing every week a different character presents who they are and what the alter ego is. Instead, no, they kept it on Bo, and he's the spokesperson, and I'm okay with that. So overall, what did you think? Because I did enjoy it, and there's more on the Gable front that comes later in the episode.
So the biggest thing to me off of this was the motivations, where Bo was like, these false prophets talk about their family, and they're just using their family for their own gain. And that's the motivation to go after someone like Gable, because Gable calls, Alpha Academy his family, but Gable's just trying to boost himself. So I like that was explained by Bo of why they were attacking. Like, it was, everyone kind of deduced that, pieced it together, but to come out, outright say it, like, oh, okay, cool, we were on the right path with that. Good. Give the motivation on that. That was the biggest takeaway for me. The other stuff was, it was a lot of what was said in the QR codes of, I am the reckoning. We are the reckoning. We're going to remind them they forgot about us, all that stuff. Like, a lot of that was QR code messaging and stuff. So now it's all just kind of coming together with this. But yeah, the biggest thing to me was him labeling people who want family as false prophets, because Gable alluded to that in his promo and also said, why aren't they going after you, Jay? Like, you're the one who took the Fireflies. You're the one who abandoned your family. Like, what happened to all of that? So I like that all of this is being tied and threaded together here. But I like the video. It was going to be tough to follow up from last week. I thought they did a good job. And now we continue to just need more out of this. And they can continue to give you more. They got 6 or 5. They got 5 people to do these videos with, including obviously Bo. So 4 other people to do like videos like this with, and explain motivations, explain why they are the way that they are. As I did like when Uncle Howdy was like, do you really think like you brought them to life? And he's like, I molded them like clay and potter, and then like they came to life, and I brought them back after they were forgotten. Like, I liked all of that. So I thought it was good. I thought it was good stuff. And again, people are gonna do the bell's gotta ring at some point. No, it doesn't, folks. No, it doesn't. Keep doing VHS videos. That's all we need. Just VHS videos.
Send them VHS wrestling matches. It's old, like Mid-South matches. And it's just Bo's face superimposed over like Kerry Von Erich's body. That's what they should do. So do you think that next week they should get away from doing the lights go out and we present another videotape? How should there be another videotape, and should it be presented, kind of the way it's been for the last 2 weeks, or are we kind of like ready to move away from this in your eyes?
See, I don't think you need to keep doing videotapes. Like, I think it's a cool bit for the first two, but they've kind of shown they can just hack the production truck and post the QR code up there. So I don't feel like you need to keep doing the here's Nikki Cross presents Michael Cole with a videotape gimmick. I think you can do other things that still shows the video, because they've shown in the past that, yeah, we can just sort of hack things and it be fine. So they don't need to do it. If they do it, fine. I do think you can run the risk of doing it too much, and like you don't need to do all that. I do wonder if they're going to do anything at Money in the Bank. I mean, Gable's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Are they going to show up there and cost him? Even if it's not directly, is it just like maybe he's climbing and then shoo, and then, the ding, 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 and then Gable just spooks out. And that's it. He just runs away.
This is the strange thing about Money in the Bank this year. Now that Drew McIntyre's qualified, and of course he got the promo earlier on Raw about, CM Punk and all that stuff. And then afterwards got the promo after Raw being like, I'm going to win the World Heavyweight Championship before the night is through, which I guess also tells us that the World Heavyweight Championship match is going on last on Saturday.
It's or at least.
Yeah. Or the men's are going to open up the nights, which is an interesting choice as well. But who knows? Regardless, you've got Drew and Punk, and then you've got Gable and the Wyatts.
Hold on. That would actually be a hilarious bit if like the World Heavyweight title match is on first, and Drew is fucking just flipping out of like, you can't put this match on first. I gotta win the Money in the Bank and cash in on the guy who was injured. Rearrange the whole card. Drew's tearing up the script, and he's like, no, the Money in the Bank match is now first. We're going out there. That would be great.
Even better, it's like, this isn't on the format. It's different. And then it's like, no, CM Punk was here. We talked about it. He had a really good idea for a pitch, and that's how it motivates the change. Oh, that we should do that. Have Punk, because that's the thing. If the Wyatts are going to get involved in the match, in the Money in the Bank match, then you can't have. Well, you can, but like you shouldn't have too much distraction, because then it's just WrestleMania 40 main event, and you can only do that so often. Instead, it would just be a little strange. So I'd rather have like a CM Punk cause this random ass backstage change, because that's what CM Punk does. He's got all the stroke around here. Jeff Jarrett, shout out. So I don't know how they're going to figure out this like chaos, but I love the idea of Drew being like, no, this wasn't what I planned. I told them I was going to win by the end of the night, and now it's not tonight. Well, I guess I'm going to have to win on Raw.
I like CM Punk being the cause of this, because it shows the favoritism towards Punk as well. The management is favoring him through all this. Like, yeah, you know what, Mr. Punk, you make a good idea. You make a good idea with this. Card match Punk is what they're going to call him here, because he rearranges the card and the matches on the card. Call
him PM Punk. We'll call him Pencilman Punk. I have a theory, though. I know that I put in the thumbnail that Drew McIntyre could be winning Money in the Bank. Okay. It would make sense to a certain degree. Big star wins, Monday Night Raw star. So traditionally in Money in the Bank, when it's been split roster, it's been one briefcase holder on one brand, one briefcase holder on the other. And I think most people have earmarked that Chelsea Green or Tiffany Stratton, for me it's Stratton, wins the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. That traditionally, or at least has in the past, meant that a Raw superstar is going to win the men's Money in the Bank. Maybe you don't need to do that this year. Maybe this can be the year where SmackDown holds both briefcases. And I wouldn't hate that. Now the question is who's going to win, and there's part of me that thinks Melo. No, I know LA Knight's another one, and people are just like, well, he's going to face Logan Paul. It's like, that's never stopped anyone from like holding a title and having a brief. Like, that's never been the thing. For me, it's always been like, who are you going to build based on this? And also going back to the last couple of years, it's always been the person who wins is the least likely or the least vocal in the field. Last year, it was Damian Priest. We sat on this show and I said for weeks, I'm like, it's Damian Priest. He's not talking about it. He's not making a big stink out of it. He's just there and he's going to win and he's going to surprise people. And I know you were like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And then when it happened, you were like, ah, shit, he's right. Joel got it right. There's a part of me that thinks if they do it again, it could be Melo winning and holding on for a while. He is the underdog. He is the most underdog of this entire field. Don't think they're going to give it to WWE Speed Champion Andrade because he's busy most nights or afternoons, depending on when the show airs. Melo winning is an opportunity for a turnaround, kind of like Ken Kennedy. I know that's a bad example in that it didn't really work, but it's an opportunity for him. And it's a catapult. LA Knight's already up there. Andrade's Andrade. Basically, the rest of the field, no one else kind of jumps out at me. It's Drew or Melo for me. Your thoughts?
Melo, if they go with Melo, they got to have a long-term plan because he ain't cashing in anytime soon. They haven't done anything with Melo to make you believe this guy is the world champion. And I think one thing in the Triple H era has done well is giving you pretty credible champions. There haven't been many, but they've been all credible. You know, even when Priest cashed in, they at least took some time and some seasoning with him to get him to continue to rate. Like when he won that briefcase last year, he wasn't ready for it, for the world title. I mean, that's why everyone just kind of dismissed him until basically Mania rolled around. And then when he did cash in, it made sense and he's elevated himself. But they also elevated him throughout the year with that. They'd have to do the same thing with Melo because he ain't ready for the world title right now. The promos are just kind of generic. The overall look, feel of him doesn't feel like it did in NXT. NXT, he was big fish, small pond arena. WWE main roster, he's a smaller fish in a bigger arena, and that aura ain't the same in that big arena. They have not gotten it there, and it hasn't been that long, so it's not gonna hit. But look at the difference between when Melo and his entire run so far. And then the one night Trick Williams came up on the main roster. And he was over.
But I'll push back. When Melo had his debut and his moment with Cody and the match itself, that opened a lot of eyes too. I get it. Trick was really over, but also there was a reason why Trick was so over. There was a thing.
There was like they were in Memphis.
Were they in Memphis? Was that there was something that like added to it, which whatever. I'm not going to take it away. I think Trick is like fantastic and eons ahead of where everyone expected him to be at this point. Melo has that, that wrestling background, whereas Trick is newer to the game. So that's fine. I agree with you. Melo has been mellowed on main roster. It hasn't been the hottest start for him, but that's kind of the point of doing something like Money in the Bank, where he has it, he can run in the background with it. I don't think it's someone saying in the chat they can't keep it on Melo till Mania again. Well, the good news is you don't have to. If you get him and you heat him up and it works, you can get him to that point. Or you can have a failed. I don't want to do a failed cash in with him. I'd rather do a failed cash in with the women this time and let that. They made a big deal about the whole like men's Money in the Bank is 80% and the women's is 100%. Melo has an opportunity, if he is winning the briefcase, to build upon it. Hopefully not with losses, but make himself undeniable to the point where you have to face whoever the champion is. And that's the other story, is if a SmackDown star wins that Money in the Bank, and let's say, and Cody is the champion, and Cody is still the champion, or someone in the bloodline is still a champion, that's a big moment and a big move expectation from that wrestler, and they do have to live up to it. I agree there. Melo would be given a big ball to have to dribble down the court.
I don't think Melo's ready to be the number one point guard option here. I don't think he's. And you're right. If it's on SmackDown, I mean, maybe he could cash in theoretically on the Raw guy, just show up, cash in, whatever.
That's true.
But SmackDown seems pretty set in their plans all the way to Mania 41 with this world title. Cody ain't losing it. And if he does, he's probably going to regain it by 41 because they're going to do the Rock stuff. Do you do a quick cash in for Melo and then he loses it the next week? I don't feel like that really serves him all that well. I don't think that serves a story for Cody either. Like losing the title, losing it to Solo serves something for Cody. Even losing it to Orton serves something for Cody in that story. Just losing it on a cash in to Melo just to win it back 2 weeks later. Not
How would the optics look if Melo went to Heatwave the next night and cashed in on Trick Williams after he retains the NXT championship?
I'm
I feel like
honestly, yeah, I'm not mad at it though. Like, I don't think they got to do a lot of work with Melo if you're gonna get him on that level right now. Like he's not there. He's just not there yet.
That's fair. I get it. My whole premise is that if Drew's going to win Money in the Bank, there is a story there of doing, Drew gaining the thing that, gaining the thing that has cost him his world title. It basically like turning around what was used on him and making it his own, and basically assuring that he gets to call his shot this time. That's fine. I'm sure he'd love it even more if CM Punk won the world championship and he got to use it on CM Punk, but I don't know if that is something that needs to be motivated in their feud. That's the one thing where I keep going back to it. It's like having Drew with the briefcase in the story with Punk, it doesn't do anything for the briefcase. It doesn't do anything for the importance of the briefcase and who it's supposed to make, because Drew and Punk on the short term is a non-title story, which is good. I just don't know where you go with that briefcase if it's on Drew.
Well, the briefcase comes into play here in the sense that Drew has been screwed over by the briefcase twice. The briefcase isn't so much a vehicle for Punk and Drew. It's a vehicle for Drew because Drew has been screwed over by the briefcase twice, including at Mania 40. And now he realizes he needs this briefcase to get the title. He's got to start playing the games other people. He tried to play the straightforward game in his mind, the straightforward game of like, I'm going to get my moment when I deserve it at Mania in front of my family. Got screwed. I'm going to get my moment when I deserve it at Clash of the Castle in front of my family. Got screwed. And now even on like, you can go back to day one when he got screwed over because Priest tried to cash in and failed, and that screwed him up. He keeps getting screwed up. Now he's like, all right, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to screw over whoever has the title, and I'm going to get my moment however I need to get my moment. And then of course he, heals it up and is just like, I deserve this. I did it the right way and all this. And it's like, you did what every good heel does. So I think that's where the briefcase plays in with that. It's less about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and more just about Drew McIntyre.
What about Chad Gable possibly winning? So going back to what happened on Monday, you had the spook out. He, got scared of the Wyatts and the silhouettes, ran up the stairs. Okay. Later on in the night, he goes and sits down next to Otis as Otis is enjoying a wonderful ham sandwich, salad, fries. There was probably some other food on the plate. I was going to take reference of what it was. There was a
WWE catering's good, man.
It looks good. I hope we get some this weekend. I doubt it. You know what they gave us at the media junket for Elimination Chamber 2023? Water and cookies. Cookies were delicious.
At least you got water.
That's true. We did get water, and I made good use of it. See, this is why I will forever be anyway. The point is, he approaches Otis, does Chad Gable, and Otis, first of all, is like, oh God, this son of a bitch. And then Chad Gable does his whole spiel. He's just like, I need you. I'm sorry. This is about family. You're my family. I've mistreated you. And then every time Otis starts to talk, you can see on Chad Gable's face that he's like, I'm going to get him. You're going to pay attention to me. It was evil. And I like the way he's just looking like a shifty asshole. If Gable wins the briefcase, is that useful? Like, is that something that you can actually motivate a story with him going after the World Heavyweight Championship? Or is it kind of a lost cause because of what's going on with the Wyatts?
I think you can use it. I think it could be good, but that feels more like a longer term play as well. It just depends on what their play is going to be in long term or short term. Because you can put the thing on Mello. Like, I'm not against putting the briefcase on any of these people. Drew feels like a short term play. LA Knight even feels a little short term. Mello, Gable feels a little bit longer term on things. Andrade, whatever term you just have with Andrade, I have no idea. He's barely been on TV.
Could you imagine if they give him the briefcase?
Sure.
The only thing he's going to keep in there is his mask.
Yeah. Jey Uso could be short-term or long-term play, depending on what they decide to go with that. Yeah, Gable getting the briefcase, and then if Gunther wins at SummerSlam, Gable cashing in on Gunther, and then that's how he beats him. Like, there's a move there. There's moves with any of these guys. Again, you mentioned you called Priest last year. Priest, they held off until WrestleMania. They have a year to figure out what they're going. If they don't have a short-term plan, they have a year to figure out what they're going to do in the long term with this briefcase and how they're going to parse through it and everything. So it's not like, oh, they get the briefcase. Okay, when are they going to cash in? Are they going to cash in a month from now, a week from now? No, they could cash in a whole year from now if that's how long it takes them to figure it out. I do hope, Triple H, we'll go back to the documentary. Triple H in this 2-minute clip is like, I have a GPS. I put in the destination, and then, it'll take you there with the twists and the turns and the roads and the detours and all this stuff, but I had the destination.
Sounds like he was using Apple Maps, because that shit went everywhere.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt of, I assume whoever he puts this briefcase on, he has the destination in mind of, if it's on Mello, he's not cashing in until, let's just say, Rumble 2025. That's the destination. How you get there, we shall see. But I assume whoever gets this briefcase, there is already an endpoint in mind. Am I giving this man probably a little too much credit? Yes.
But that's okay. We can do that. We're not getting too invested in this. I'm
very invested.
You're very invested. Okay, good to know. You'll be very upset if things don't go the way you planned.
I don't really care.
Just ask Paul after the show. Just be like, Paul, why don't you book to my specific ideas? Well, this is a great. Sorry, I'm not going to do this.
Well, then they need then they need Cody to step in and be like, I need to go ahead and lose to Solo Sikoa. That way people aren't thinking that I'm just holding this title for Roman Reigns. I need to go ahead and make Solo Sikoa here so people don't get caught up and I'm holding this title for Roman Reigns.
What about the idea that sometimes Money in the Bank becomes almost like another title? You don't put it on the line often, but it can be used as a stake if you're holding on to it longer. So going back to Drew wins it. Him and Punk have a match for the briefcase. Not the first time, maybe the second time. The stakes get a little higher. What about something like that? Would that be useful this time around, or is it kind of like we're done trying to play that game?
No, I think they could have done that a lot throughout the years. I don't think they've done that enough, honestly, because we've seen it in the past where people have put the briefcase on the line and then lost it or defended it. I don't think they've done that enough over the years. I think other wrestlers should be smart and actually step up and be like, hey, put that briefcase on the line. See if you can goad whoever into putting the briefcase on the line. I think that would be smart for other wrestlers to do that.
We got a super chat earlier from Ats Collins, who hosts Wrestling Made Me Cry on the
Hey.
channel. Says Tiffy time for Money in the Bank, both briefcases. This is a very good point. What if Tiffy time wins both briefcases? What if Tiffany Stratton just shows up, climbs the ladder, and says, "Screw you guys, I'm getting both of them. I'm gonna beat Cody Rhodes. I'm gonna be the guy."
She gives the other briefcase to Kaiser. Like, he could not compete. He was injured. Here you go.
That sounds like the best, worst idea I've ever heard. Oh, my ribs hurt, but I can be champion.
Look, we want fair play, right? The first women's Money in the Bank briefcase was decided because dummy Ellsworth knocked it down and handed it to Carmella. Now we've got Tiffany Stratton taking the men's briefcase and just handing it to Kaiser, who wasn't even in the match.
Perfect. Look at this.
Equality.
We're causing equality. We're closing the gap. This is how it should be. This is how it should be every single year. Well, not every year, but at least every few years. Just have the women win it for the men. And then the next week on SmackDown, we got to do it all over again. And then she does it again, and everyone just gets upset. Anyway, yeah, there's enough going on with Drew qualifying that it kind of threw things into a new kind of sense of disarray, because everyone said at the beginning, oh, it's Jey Uso, he's got to win it, this is a big moment, blah, blah, blah. We even talked about it. Now there's a field that has at least a few realistic winners based on whether or not you want to do something long-term or short-term. And personally, I want to see the Money in the Bank continue to be a long-term prop, I guess. Again, I look at it almost like a title. I want to see it used as a motivator for some wrestlers who win it. That's the way it should be.
That's fair. I get it. I understand where you're coming from with that. Yeah, it's all just going to depend on who they put the briefcase on. And find out this Saturday, WWE Money in the Bank, airing live on Peacock, 45 minutes of ads.
Also hilarious that we talked about Zoe Stark, and I was like, no, she could win. They do need bases. And you were just like, nah, not gonna win. She's not gonna win. And then she won the thing, and I was just cackling to myself, like, oh, of course she won. They need more people.
Poor Dakota Kai.
Poor Dakota. She'll be fine. People are just like, man, they don't know how to book her. And I'm just like, no, they do. The damage control needs to change stuff is going to be very interesting. Very much looking forward to Bozilla joining damage control in the fall. That would rule. I'm putting it out there because I just need to see it. She is, if you haven't seen Bozilla, man, you got to. It's going to be fun. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker stuff. This has been the one match where people are a little torn. Sammy's at home. Braun is on a tear. Sammy doesn't always do well at home, but he's also the Intercontinental Champion. The promo that they had on Raw was actually really good. I liked it. I know some people were a little torn on it. They didn't like that. Some people didn't really like that Sami Zayn is. They don't think he's as good on they think he's better on the chase than he is right now. And like, I get it, but also I like this version of Sami Zayn. He's confident because he's experienced, and he's using that experience to explain why a guy like Braun Breaker, while he does have the championship pedigree and the family and all that stuff, that doesn't always win matches. I like that there is a good story here that also makes you think, like, who should be winning this? It's not a foregone conclusion. What do you think of the promo, and what's going to happen on this match on Saturday?
Sami Zayn is like the perfect professional wrestler. I can't put Sami Zayn over enough. He does everything well. He gets you invested to everything that he is doing. I thought the promo was really good on Monday. I thought Braun played his role well enough, but Braun isn't super comfortable on the mic yet. He doesn't need to be. He just runs through people. Sammy was great on the mic. Is he better as like an underdog chasing? Yeah, a little bit, but he's still good as the champion. Just because he's better, just because he's an A+ in one category, doesn't mean he's an F in another category. Maybe he's just an A-. Sami Zayn, again, one of the absolute best professional wrestlers in the world, from telling a story, from in-ring, from microphone work, everything. All wrestlers should study Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes fascinates me, but you should study Sami Zayn. I think Braun Breaker's going to win.
Oh, man. This is the one match where I would not hate a DQ. I also, oh, man. If Braun Breaker wins, we're going to have the Sheamus match. It feels like Sheamus and Braun Breaker, and then Sheamus going back to the Intercontinental Championship being the one that's eluded him. There are straws in there, and then Sami can focus on literally anything else as long as it's not Chad Gable. And maybe, who knows, maybe Johnny Knoxville is going to help Sami win his match on Saturday.
Knoxville's showing up for the comedy thing. Knoxville's
he'll be gone by Thursday night. He'll be on the red eye.
Yeah, Knoxville's not doing the actual Money in the Bank. People are trying to make too much of that. He literally quote tweeted it with like the comedy show part too. Like, yeah, I think Knoxville's showing up for comedy. He ain't showing up to get involved. I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I'd run back. Please run back Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. That would be fantastic. But I don't think that's actually happening. Knoxville's just showing up to the comedy stuff, which great. We're going to be there.
Knoxville just shows up and he runs down with a giant hand in his hand. I'm coming, buddy. But then it all goes awry and Braun wins. Poor Braun. He's going to win.
I don't think you can go wrong with Braun or Sami winning this, by the way. If Braun wins, that continues to establish him as this monster on the brand running through people. And if Sami wins, you kind of get the loss out of the way for Braun, and you don't have to worry about kind of protecting him in that manner. You can use that, Sami was more experienced. Braun maybe wasn't quite ready for this one just yet, but he'll get there, I'm sure, and he'll eventually beat Sami. I don't think you can go wrong with whoever wins this match.
So just to put a bow on our WWE talk, because Ben Ortmanns is going to be joining us at 11:30 in about 5 minutes, talk about IWS Scarred for Life and his match, because he's going to pull out a gun in that match. Anything else from Monday Night Raw that we really need to cover? I know they talked about the Paul Heyman stuff again, but there was nothing else. There was the backstage fight between all the women's tag teams, all three of them.
Dominic Mysterio mounted Liv Morgan.
Yes, let's talk about it. Liv Morgan retained her championship against Zelina Vega. Dom was trying to throw that chair to Zelina, and she didn't believe him.
He's got to stop.
The idiot here is the problem.
Well, true.
This was motivating. This was good stuff. I didn't hate it. The match was fine. It was what it was. But the big news was Rey Mysterio he's a good father, beating his son like that.
Rey Mysterio continues to just win. Dominic, even with Liv trying to help him, still can't beat his father.
But when someone gets to mount their partner, everyone's happy. Now they should just this relationship sponsored by Mountain Dew.
What?
Because you can Mountain Dew. No. You ever heard that? You can do it mount and anyway, our guest is here. Good timing.
Exactly. No pop.
Let me have my moment. It was a good moment. Mountain Dew match. Now I see the smile on your face. If he's ready for us, he can give us a thumbs up and we'll get right to it. We are excited to welcome now, ahead of IWS Scarred for Life, again on Sunday, July the 7th on Triller Plus, the big man, the big Ben joins us now. Ben Ortmanns, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well. Look at that New Japan Pro Wrestling hat. Let's talk.
Well, I'm a big fan of the Japanese pro wrestling. If you haven't watched me wrestle at all, I'm sure you could probably gather where I get my my influence from. So, thankfully, a friend of mine had one of these kicking around and knew that I was probably the proper owner of it and hooked it up. So I've been wearing it religiously ever since.
Well, in true New Japan fashion, you got a 6-way scramble match, which is really not a New Japan fashion at all. IWS Scarred for Life. It's going to be yourself, Sexy Eddie, Bob Anger, Alex Mays, Dante Dubois, and Tara Zepp. And you want to bring a certain weapon to the fray.
So I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I'm very influenced, right? I love me some Kenta. That's my dog's name. I named my dog after him. But I love me some Minoru Suzuki. That's my hero. That is my favorite wrestler. That is my dream opponent. And I saw him use a gun the other day, and I thought that was the most badass shit I've ever seen. And it's IWS. So I figured I would make a pitch to Andrew and just say, hey, please hear me out on this idea. I woke up to a message from Manny and told me that I'm 21 years too late because he's already done this. And I've never been less surprised before in my life.
We had Kristara on our show earlier, and we kind of mentioned how you can't really do too crazy because the main event of this show is Nick Gage and Manny, and they're going to do everything crazy imaginable in their match. So like you can't really anything you pitch isn't going to overshadow what they do. But here you are pitching a gun. And so maybe you can actually overshadow what they were going to do.
I'm of the thought process of just because you might not be in the main event doesn't mean that you still can't be remembered. And hey, listen, I'm also of the theory, and I'm pretty sure that the rest of the IWS roster is under this motto as well, because I know this because we talk about it before every single show. But the idea is if you can't follow the match in front of you, then you don't deserve to be there. So it's kind of every match is the main event. That's kind of the mentality that we take at IWS, where we want everybody to be better than us, right? Because we want to be the best person on the card. We want to be the most memorable person, and we all work towards that. We all strive towards that. And every single one in the locker room is supportive of that. We all want each other to be the best version of ourselves, so then that way we all have better people to work with. So I genuinely believe in that mentality where it's like, you come back from the back after your match and you just like, hey, follow that, mother effers. And you literally like, please follow that, like be better than me. So it gives me something to go home for the next few weeks and like, let that sink into my soul. It's just like, this motherfucker is better. No, I'm trying to be the champion of this company. I'm trying to be the face of this company. I am the face of this company. It even says so underneath my name. But, you know, I feel like there's a responsibility to be the best version of yourself. And I genuinely love that about this crew, that everybody goes out of their way to do that. And if you can't follow a gun, then get two guns. I don't know.
I mean, listen, you know the saying, don't bring a gun to a knife fight, or don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You would literally be bringing a gun to a match that was probably going to feature knives later on in the night. So maybe you're just getting ahead of things.
Now, I also have to take into consideration that, like, I played Nick Gage in the Dark Side of the Ring episode, so I feel like I almost need to bring something to the table in this whole thing, you know?
How did I not know that?
Brother, did you not know that I was the wrestling coordinator for that show for about 3 seasons, and I played so many parts that it's like I lost track?
Well, okay, now we had to talk about that experience for a little bit. You did the wrestling coordination, you did a few of the the segments, you played a few characters. So what was that like? And yeah, just let's talk about it for a sec.
So like playing the roles or doing the coordination, or both?
Both, really. May as well dig right in.
So it all started with my experience on that show was because they were looking for, I'm assuming that this email went out to a bunch of different like gym owners within the town, like, or within the Ontario, but they were just looking for certain people that needed to look like a bunch of different people, and they knew that I knew a lot of people. So they had emailed me and they're just like, hey, do you have people that you might be able to recommend for these roles, yada yada yada. So pretty much from like the second half of the first season, I was kind of helping with like pitching people and helping like just cast stuff. And then I believe it was the first part of the second season, they did the Nick Gage episode, or maybe it was the third season, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they did the Nick Gage episode, and when they were asking me about people who looked like Nick Gage, I literally couldn't think of anybody else other than myself, but I didn't want to be that guy to like try to pitch myself for that, because they were coming to me for other people. So thankfully the guy that was in charge of the final say was just like, I think that you would be a good Nick Gage. So long story short, like, I didn't really know exactly what the show was, so I thought I was actually acting, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that I was just like, they basically just tell you what to do and you just do it, but like I thought I had lines and stuff like that. Like I wasn't really 100% sure what I was getting myself into. So like I was contacting like his friends that I knew, like mutual people that we knew, and I was like learning everything I possibly could about Nick Gage. And it helped because I think that the performance went really well, and that like they did a lot of cool shots that I think that certainly doing the research helped. But the reality is that it's weird when you type Nick Gage into like the GIF on Twitter, you'll see more of me than you will of him. So, but that was just a really cool experience, and they really liked how much effort that I put into it. So they kept using me for stuff and kept using me for more roles, and they saw how hands-on I was with my stuff, and I guess they thought that maybe I was a good teacher because I run a gym and I teach. So they saw that, and they just wanted to ask me the one season. I think it was actually for the Tales of the Territories, and then it led into another season or two. They just asked me to do the wrestling coordination, which I thought was super cool because, I take a lot of that stuff very seriously. I'm a huge wrestling fan. So if you ask me to like recreate certain things, like I did so much research. Like I got to do the Chris Candido episode, and if you go and watch it, like the recreation for that, like if you know anything about Chris Candido and like you're a big fan or like you're a friend or a family, there's so many little tiny like nuggets for them. Like if you knew Chris, like you would know that the recreation that we did was his match on Raw against Brian Christopher, where he was still technically in ECW, but he wasn't Skip anymore. He was actually introduced on Raw as Chris Candido. And we literally did the entire match move for move. So then that way we could recreate that, because that was in a sense what we were trying to, like, they wanted something from that time frame. So, I cared a lot. And, I put a lot of effort and a lot of myself and a lot of time and research into helping that show be the best that it could. And then it just turned out that once they just started filming the last season that they filmed, things just kind of got weird, and like a lot of people were coming and going, and then all of a sudden I think the people in charge saw that Santino Marella was available to do it, and I think it was literally just like, oh, a WWE guy as opposed to this other guy. Well, gone. And then they asked me if I wanted to stick around and do other work, and I just wasn't really interested. So that was my experience, and it was a good one, and it was great. But yeah, we're moving on to the next thing,
Does Nick Gage know you were Nick Gage?
I believe so. I've chatted with him a couple of times just through like DMs. So I say I think so because I know that we've talked about it, but whether or not he remembers is a whole other thing. Like, it'll be interesting seeing him on Friday in Toronto and just being like, do you know me at all?
I'll just take the photo, post it, and then, for those that know, will know, and if they
Yeah.
don't know, then whatever. But
So-
for those that do, will.
Right after that, actually, we did a collaborative shirt where I did something to raise some money for an animal shelter in New Jersey, because I'd actually asked Brett if he was cool with this, but we did like a shirt that was a Ben DK, and all of the proceeds went to, I just asked them what charity they wanted me to send the proceeds to, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was some sort of animal thing in New Jersey where I was just like, I'm all for that. So they're aware of me. It's just that we've never actually met face to face yet, and that will happen this weekend. So I'm pretty excited to see that.
We're both going to be there, by the way. So if you need
Tremendous.
a photo taken, we got you.
Well, I haven't actually met you guys face to face yet either, I don't believe. So it'll be a pleasure to see you guys finally.
We'll take one big group photo with everybody.
that.
Do you know Cole Radrick?
Yeah, I've welcomed him to the Huge Hog Club. He's a great guy. What's
He
your
is
beef
a
with
great
Cole?
guy. Love that dude.
What's your beef with Cole?
He
Tell me all about it.
He wants to put me through a table. So
What'd you do to deserve that?
What didn't he do? If you ever watched the show,
So I don't think that people just randomly walk up to somebody and say, I want to throw you through a table.
I
Unless
volunteered.
You just got the face for it. I don't know.
I volunteered. He's holding a big show in Spencer, Indiana, August 23rd, the second non-annual Smitty Warbird Jigger Handsome Man tournament. All right, there's the plug for you, Cole.
Tremendous.
I'm a big SpongeBob. I basically bullied him into running this second show because he did the first one, and I'm a big SpongeBob fan, so I bullied him into running a second show. And I think as punishment, he wants to put me through a table.
That all sounds fair to me. Like, I mean,
Ben, come on.
no, but like, I mean,
I like this guy.
As far as like everything that you just said, I'm trying to think, like, did anything sound out of, like, nothing sounded wrong there?
Listen,
I
Ben,
need people on my side.
well, hold
Yeah,
on.
but listen, if Sean can get into matches, I mean, like, isn't this like a Fightful thing? Like,
Yeah, he's like actually trained.
I
I'm
chopped
not.
the tits off of Mike, like, and I don't even know why he asked me to do that. Like, I felt bad, but
Don't.
But I mean, you got to join the crew. The whole Fightful team is doing matches and going through things and like just taking beatings. You gotta earn your stripes, Jeremy.
Listen,
I earned my stripes
hold
through
on.
hard work, not
True.
putting my body on the line.
Well, no, but I mean, here's the thing.
I
Like,
went the opposite way. I'm fucking stupid.
well, Ben trains. Like he has his gym. He trains. You're gonna be together this weekend. Maybe Ben can put you through a table. Just
Yeah, man, we got class down tonight in Cambridge. Come on down. I'll show you how to get put through a door. I'll put you through.
I won't be there tonight. I arrive tomorrow.
Yeah, my ring is in Sudbury tomorrow for a rental, so unfortunately not. But we don't necessarily need a ring. I've still got the facility. You're more than welcome to come down. We can go over some stuff. I could teach you how to not die, and that's
I would prefer
probably
that.
the most important part about the whole thing. Is just don't die.
That's all I need.
Yeah,
I would prefer that.
who gives a shit if you get hurt? I mean, you'll feel better in a few days.
I got 12 kids, Ben. Like I can't afford to be getting hurt out here.
You got what?
That's a work number, but I do have.
Thank God. I was gonna say,
Well,
what are you doing over there?
Well, you see where Jeremy is. There's no cable, and the internet is spotty. So you know.
I was gonna say the name Overbooked would certainly be correct.
I like when I give the work number and people are like, holy shit, what's going on?
Hey man, like trust me, like me and my girlfriend, we're still trying to decide if we want one. You know what I mean? So like that's just a big ass number.
One's fine. Anything above one, it gets.
That's a lot. That's a lot of work. Like on a lot of different levels. That's
planning, preparation, the other stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got one. He's 2.5. I get it. It could be a lot of work. Hey, but
I got 2 puppies. That's enough for me, man. That's more than enough.
So here's the thing, though. If you're going to, if anyone's going to do it, it should be the Pro Wrestling Digest hunk of the day. Can we talk about that? That was you.
When was that? Okay.
This was on your
remember
Instagram.
this, but what's that?
This was on your Instagram. You posted this photo.
Yeah,
I
think that had to have been a long time ago because I remember getting tagged in something like that and just being like, why?
Have you owned it since? Have you thought about maybe a new, hunking Ben Ortmanns instead?
I'm having a hard enough time just being successful with the Ben that I'm currently am at the moment. I don't know if Hunky Ben is going to get me any further in my path of IWS Heavyweight Championship gold, because the thing is that there are just a roster full of killers there, and like being on my A games has not been enough. So like I gotta figure out how I can get sharper. So then that way, like the Carl Jepsons of the world, like I could finally like beat these guys. You know what I mean? Like Benjamin Tull has been like my worst nightmare. Like for some damn reason, I can beat the shit out of this dude for 40 minutes straight if I wanted to. It's just getting his damn shoulders to the mat for 3 seconds. I can't fucking do. So believe me, like this has been a lot of work and a lot of like just trying to figure this whole thing out. So if I got to be hunky sexy Ben to figure this out, maybe you guys are onto something. I'll give it a shot. I'll ask. I got to wrestle Sexy Eddie on the weekend. Maybe he can give me a pointer.
Well, this is where the gun comes into play too. I feel like you can.
You understand me, Jeremy, and this is why I like being on this show. You get me. This is where he's got his dick and I've got my gun. I think it's perfectly. We can make a great tag.
You could come out to Love Gun by Kiss because
the dick
is the gun.
Nobody would be safe. It would be a real danger zone. You know what? We're booking. We're doing some good booking here, and I can really respect this. This is why everybody needs to tune in on Sunday, because if you haven't bought tickets for the show. If you have not gotten the pay-per-view on Triller, you are going to miss out on probably the craziest death match that has ever death matched between two of the craziest, like the literal craziest human beings that have ever been in the business. Like, Manny didn't earn the name Crazy Effing PCP Manny because he's great at picking flowers. Like, this is... Like, literally, have you actually processed what the fuck we're in for this?
I mean, last time Manny
year.
lost an ear.
Yeah.
Manny lost an ear now last time he was with
And that
me.
was a 6-man tag. So this time the two of them just get to beat each other up, unencumbered.
So let me tell you a quick story that I've never told another human being. So the show where I wrestled, where Minoru Suzuki was on the IWS show, I wrestled Green Phantom. And unfortunately in that match, I got a really bad concussion that put me out for almost a year. It was like the second concussion I had gotten in about like 2 months. So I was not happy about it. And I may have been a little angry in the back about it. And I just remember Manny pulling me aside and just being like, hey, listen, like, you can't be this angry about your head getting fucked up. I know that you got everything and you have every right in the world to be, but I mean, somebody literally almost took my ear off last show, and like, you got to just take the lumps and keep going. And I was just like, what a wild thing to be able to say to somebody to try to calm them down. It's just like, this person almost took my ear off, so don't be mad. It's all good. Just don't worry about it.
Well, glad that you're recovered from everything.
Me too.
There. I do have to ask about your pen tweet and go into WWE getting armbarred by Ronda Rousey and Pat McAfee calling everything. What was that whole experience like?
The wildest day of my life, man. So here's the thing. Every time that I've gotten to do work for the WWE, I'm not that guy that's just like, oh, I can't wait to, sit in catering and hopefully like they, just get me in, get me out or whatever. Like, and I'm not the kind of guy that just like, oh man, hopefully they pick me for security. I'm a wrestler, man. Like, I want to wrestle. Like, my goal is to be a wrestler. I want to wrestle for them. Like, if your goal, there was a gentleman, like, I actually had a match booked at one point in Winnipeg. So this was the like right after I did the thing with Ronda in Montreal. So it was about a month later, they were in Winnipeg and they brought me in. And I remember one of the office guys beelining it towards me when I had first gotten to the building, and he had this smile on his face, and I thought I was in trouble. But he came to me and he's just like, Benny, I got you your match. Because him and I had that conversation numerous times where I was just like, thank you for the opportunity. And he'd just be like, did you have a good time? No. Well, why not? Because I didn't wrestle, and I'm here to wrestle. Like, it's not that I didn't have a good time, and I'm not trying to say that I had a bad time, but I didn't accomplish my goal of why I'm here. So until that happens, like, I feel like you're not seeing me for what I truly am. And then he came and told me that I had a match booked. And funny enough, it was actually against Imperium, and it was going to be a tag match. But then that was the same week that there was like that tropical storm in Florida that like just took out like a crap ton of stuff, and like they couldn't get flights down there. So like they didn't have any doctors to clear the local talent. So they literally had nobody to potentially clear me to say that I was good to go. So then my match got taken away from me and given to somebody else who had been at Raw the week or the Monday before and had already gotten cleared that week or whatever. So my WWE experiences have been incredible. But again, like the reason why I took that Ronda Rousey moment with the armbar and stuff like that to heart, and the reason why I hold that memory so near and dear is because at this point, I mean, I'm turning 40 in a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be on their hiring radar for as far as like in-ring talent goes. Maybe, hopefully, at some point in time, maybe they would consider me potentially as like a coach or something in the PC, or potentially even to do like creative or help with like production and stuff like that, because I have a lot of experience doing that. I've helped produce live pay-per-views for Impact back in the day. I'm sure not a lot of people know that either. But the opportunity to get in there and even just do anything that was like wrestling related, you know what I mean? Like, I got to get in the ring, I got bumped, I got to sell, I got to kind of show people what I was capable of, and that like I can tell a story with my face, which is super important for them. Like that, I can be in the moment and not just try to do what you're not try to get myself over, essentially, you know. And having Pat McAfee, like one thing that you guys got to understand is that like when the pandemic started, I was so bored and like I needed something. And like I just remember while I was working, Pat McAfee was on Sirius XM at the time. So I was just listening to him like every day because I'm a big football guy. He loves wrestling and he's hilarious. And those are like literally my three favorite genres of life: combat sports, comedy, and you know, football. So hearing somebody get a chance to like talk about all of that stuff was I loved it. And I just followed him like literally. I'd watch every single show, all 3+ hours of it, every single day, sometimes on repeat, just because we had so much time. And I haven't really stopped. I've just been a Pat McAfee guy ever since. And I met him earlier in Chicago when they brought me in after the pandemic. And I just remember he wasn't supposed to be there. Like he was there as a surprise. And it surprised the hell out of me. And that was it's a one and only time I've actually marked out for somebody while I was there, because like he just all of a sudden was in front of me and I'm like, yo, what the fucking dude? And he had like Foxy with him and he had like a couple of the boys with him. So I was like, yo. So long story short, when we got to Montreal, like I was just like, yo, Pat. And he's like, Ben. And he fucking remembered me. And he's just like, dude, you look great. And so like that was like the coolest moment ever. Like he saw how hard I was working and like remembered where I was and saw me where like it was just really, really cool, man. Because another thing is, and I'm sorry I'm kind of rambling here, but the reason why that moment meant so much was because a few years earlier, I was doing work for WWE in Toronto where they had like the Raw and SmackDown the Monday and Tuesday back when they were doing that. And to get a little personal, I was there. I went there the Monday and what did I do? I was in the No Way Jose conga line. And there was a girl that I was seeing at the time, and I went to go and find her and just to kind of like celebrate with her. And it was at that moment I had found out that maybe she wasn't as faithful as I thought. So it was a bad night for me, man. Like it was a really, really bad night personally. And I just remember getting in the elevator, trying to get the hell out of there because I had another day, you know, and the next day was supposed to be the match that I was trying to get. So I was just trying to get out of there. I got into the elevator, and once I got into the elevator, Rhonda and Travis Brown just all of a sudden got into the elevator. And, you know, I'm just trying to mind my P's and Q's. I'm trying not to say anything, even though like I talked to Travis earlier in the day because I know I love combat sports, right? And all of a sudden we get off, and man, I don't know if I should tell this part of the story, but whatever. She just smelled weed, and it just was like, she looks at me and she looks at Trash like, oh my God, like you guys got it so good here. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, you guys got good shit here. And I'm like, I have a joint in my car. Like if you're that hard up. And she like looked at me and then looked at Travis and then looked at me and she's just like, oh my God, Travis, can we? And then like next thing you know, like I'm just like having one with Rhonda. And then at that point she saw that I was not in a good place. And like all of a sudden she's like, what's wrong? And next thing you know, dude, like she opened me up like a book and like dissected me and literally talked me through everything. Like it was the sweetest thing I'd ever seen like another human being do. Like that's why when I hear people talk about, oh, Rhonda's this really bad person, maybe from your perspective, maybe because you've never dealt with her, but man, like that lady didn't know who I was. That was the first time I had ever met her. I was a complete stranger to this lady. She saw that I was hurting and like took 45 minutes out of her day and made her husband wait in the truck and just sat with me in my car and just made sure that I was okay. So the fact that we were able to go back, like, you know, a few years later, and she's looking at me in Montreal, like, why do I remember you? And then I tell her the story and she's just like, that's you. It was just this really cool first full circle moment. And like that spot was actually supposed to go to somebody else, but he just wasn't doing very well with it when we were doing the rehearsals. And I just so happened to be right beside the officials when they were like, well, what do we do? And I just kind of was like, this is my thing, guys. And I'm not lying. Like I'm the MMA guy here. Like, please let me do this. So she went in, like I went in, she fucking whipped me around. And then as she whips me around, she just looks down and she goes, damn, dude, you're good. And I was just like, thanks, man. And then literally from there, it was just like, all right, this is what we're doing. And then there was a few angry people that, you know, and I understand. And it is what it is. Thankfully, they still got to have a part of the, you know, the actual segment itself. They didn't completely miss out or anything. But yeah, that went so well that I was supposed to be in Toronto on the following Monday because that happened on a Friday, and then they were in Toronto. And then I got an email that I woke up. Actually, I didn't even wake up to, because by the time I had driven home, like it was like 6 a.m. by the time I got home. And I think I got home, was about to go to sleep, and then there was an email from the office, and they said, you can't come to work on Monday because we can't use you. I'm like, well, why not? And they're like, because that clip is going to replay about 400 times between now and Monday. And if we use you for anything, they're just going to be like, that's the dude who just got his arm broken. It's like, damn it. You ever lose work because you did such a good job? Shit.
And that's why we bury Ronda Rousey. Come on.
Ah, man, she got me back because, like, again, like that day that I was supposed to wrestle, she found out that, like, I kind of, not say screwed over, but like it just didn't, like, you know, it happened the way that it happened. So she immediately fucking found out I was there, grabbed me, and she took me and used me in her segment that night, and got in trouble for it because they I wasn't supposed to technically do anything because I wasn't cleared or whatever. Sorry guys, I'm sweating my ass off in this truck. But yeah, so she got in trouble, or no, sorry, I got in trouble as soon as I got back. And then, like a gangster, dude, like she just stepped up and she was like, that was my decision. Like I asked him to be there. And then, yeah, she took the bullet for the whole thing. That's why I say it's just like, she's cool lady, man. She's been nothing but great to me.
I appreciate you going so in depth with this and just being so raw with this. That was awesome. Thank you.
Hey, no welcome. Or sorry, you're welcome. But yeah, like I'm just a firm believer of, you know, if someone does something good for you, like you got to give them their flowers, like, because, you know, the way that the internet is, the way that the world is, just especially the way that the wrestling business is, you know, I tell my students every day, it's just like there's a gun to your head every day, and it's up to you to try to not put bullets in it. But even if you don't put any bullets in it, people are still trying to slide those sons of bitches in there, you know what I mean? Because everybody just wants to pull the trigger on everybody. It's kind of a sad situation when you think about it, like, from that regard. So when, like, I know that I've had people talk poorly about me, and when I've listened to examples of why they thought so poorly of me, I'm literally just like, these are literally coaches, like just coaching examples. Like, none of this is, the people that are trying to say that I'm a bad person just didn't like being coached. They didn't like being told that what they were doing were wrong. Because they don't like what they're hearing doesn't make me a terrible person. Like, I have a job to do, you know, like I have a responsibility where if you are coming into this world of pro wrestling and you've asked me to be your coach, my job is to make sure that you can go with the best in the world. Because I don't care if, like, I'm not interested in training people to just be mediocre. That's not what I'm about. I'm not about taking people's money. I'm not about just turning people over just to do it. I'm looking for quality. I want to train quality individuals and humans and make them better wrestlers that way, you know? So it sucks when you hear people, you know, say bad things about you, but when you know that your heart is in the right place and that, you know, people are just taking things the wrong way, sometimes you have to step up for some people and let them know about the good that they do.
So while we're giving people flowers, can you bury the Love Wrestling crew?
Zach can kiss my ass. So
thank you.
And I say that jokingly because, like, every time I love Zach, but every time he invites me onto his show, he fucks me over every single fucking time. Sorry, I dropped like 5 F-bombs there, but my God, is that frustrating. I love Zach. I would take a bullet for Zach. I love that whole Love Wrestling crew, but my God, do I hate that Quizplex show. JPJ, Pluggo, or my boy Hago, love those boys. The Beards show, love them all to death. I love all those guys, man. Do you guys have a friendly rivalry?
Oh, we're good. We're all good.
Yeah,
I really was hoping that you would tell me that you guys got heat, because then I would just try to stir more shit.
No, the only one we don't like is Mike, because he's got a show here and show there. You can't. You count as whatever you want. Right? So he even sent us a super chat and being like, "In the weeds is better than busted open." That's our bit. Says, "Love you, Ben. You gotta just chop him again. Maybe Friday. You want to chop him
So
again?"
he's actually, I don't know if you noticed or not, but so like the last CBPW show that we did a live YouTube like just for that, because normally and then as soon as we do the live YouTube viewing, like I take it down because like I give it to Speedball and Veda to do the proper commentary on. But I've been letting Mike do live commentary for just the show by himself, and he doesn't know it yet, but chances are I'm probably going to get him to do the same thing on July 28th when Crossbody Pro Wrestling presents Just Another Smiley Sunday with Kylie Ray. So please get your tickets for that if you have not already. Go to CBPW Academy on all the social medias and check out all of that stuff because we've got one hell of a show lined up. We have Jordan Oliver even defending his heavyweight championship against Psycho Mike, which is going to be an incredible match. Sorry, what was the question again?
No, that was you plugging, and I'm all for
yes.
it.
Yeah.
I needed to get that plug in because we got IWS coming up this weekend, which is going to be just the biggest pay-per-view that independent wrestling has this year. No question whatsoever. And I'm going to potentially shoot 5 people. So I'm not saying that is going to happen, but all I'm saying is that it's in discussion. We're talking about it. And if that doesn't interest you to buy a ticket or to buy the pay-per-view, you're nuts. Because I'm going to find a gun and we're going to do this. And we can thank Minoru Suzuki and DDT for all of that. And again, after that, like just a few weeks later, Kylie Ray coming to Canada. This is such a huge deal, man, because like I've been working on getting Kylie Ray for about 5 years. And the match was always supposed to be Kylie Ray versus Alexia Nicole, but unfortunately, Alexia is dealing with some health issues at the moment. So it kind of worked out where like my brand new student, Jalen Hill, she is just like the biggest Kylie Ray fan in the world. And it's like the sweetest thing ever. And they're going to be teaming up against Gabriel Fuerza and another student of mine, Crystal Moon, who's been absolutely on a tear recently. Like she's been starting to get bookings in the States, like a lot of booking in the States. And she's been doing very well for herself and making a name for herself. And I'm very, very proud of her. And that's going to be a fantastic match. I'm really genuinely looking forward to showcasing women's wrestling because it needs it, you know?
All right. Before we let you go, and you've been so generous with your time and your stories, we play a game on this channel. Ooh. It's called Partner Promo Punch in the Face. Originally, I was going to
like the sounds of this. Okay, let's do this.
Originally, I was going to have you rank your pets, but we're not going to do that. I decided we're going to do Partner Promo Punch in the Face. I'm going to give you 3 names, and you're going to pick which one you want to partner with in a tag team match, which one you want to have a promo off with in the ring, on the microphone, all that, and which one you want to punch in the face one-on-one singles match. You ready?
Yes.
These are people you're very close with.
All right.
Because you mentioned him, I got to do it. Ben Tull, Sexy Eddie, Shane Hawk. Partner, promo, punch in the face.
Sorry, who was the first one?
Ben Tull.
Ben Tull, Hawk, and Eddie. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I can't hurt Hawk. He's hurt. So I'm going to promo with Shane Hawk because I think that would be a lot of fun. And then we've got punch in the face, and then sorry, what was the other one?
You got promo, punch in the face, partner.
Sorry, promo, punch in the face.
Sorry, tag team partner.
Tag team partner. I would tag with Sexy Eddie in a heartbeat because I love Sexy Eddie, and I think that we are the complete opposites as far as wrestlers go. So, like, I think that would be a really fun just dichotomy. And I would punch Ben Tull in the face on a daily basis if I could.
Sexy Eddie.
However,
Hunky Benny.
I got to rethink that. Have you ever seen Tull's Instagram or like his social media? That boy can cook.
Yeah.
Like that dude is a food junkie. So I don't know if I want to piss him off because like I'm starting to get into cooking, you know what I mean? So like
my second favorite wrestling t-shirt that I've ever owned is a Ben Tull shirt, and it's a picture of pizza and it says send food pics. I wish I had it next to me. I don't, but it is my second favorite all-time wrestling t-shirt.
He's great. However, again, you know, I would say I punched Tull in the face because hopefully he would stay down for 3 seconds for me for once, and that'd be great.
Well, maybe you'll get the chance. Maybe you'll get the chance one day. But until then, you got a 6-way scramble. He's Absolutely. Big Ben is gonna shoot on, not shoot for the censors, at IWS Scarred for Life in a 6-way scramble match. It's this Sunday, July 7th on Triller.
Hell yeah.
There's a whole whack of stuff going on that show. Please check it out. IWS Scarred for life. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to seeing you on
Thank you
Friday
for having me.
as well.
Yes, please
Yeah.
message me and let me know where we can meet up. I would love to do that.
We
For
will
sure.
see you there.
All right, I'm gonna go get the sweat out of my eyes. I am dying right now, boys.
Turn on the AC.
Thank you, man.
Drive.
All right, thank you for having me, gentlemen. You take care.
Thanks.
Thank you. See you this weekend.
Take care. Oh,
I
Big
gotta
Ben
get
Ortmanns.
Ben. I gotta get Ben to let me use the gun on Cole.
He might. Maybe. That was a great chat. I knew. I know about Big Ben. Obviously, he's Canadian and close by. He's in Hamilton and all that. But we haven't had a good chat before, and this was fantastic. Really appreciated his time. Got some really fun stories out of that. Good chat. Whew.
That was fantastic. I too, Louis popped me on Ben's getting heat with me because he's created a lot more work for me.
It's true.
That Ronda Rousey story. I don't know if I can headline.
I would maybe talk to him offline. Just be like, hey, you said these things. You still want to put that out there? Because I don't want to. Yeah, we'll let you guys figure out the way that should work out. Anyway.
Headline: Ronda Rousey smoked weed with
Big
Ben and Travis
Ortmanns.
Brown.
I love that he tells us so. He's like, can we please? Just the idea of Ronda asking her husband, can we go smoke with this guy? That's good stuff. Yeah, man, you don't get these stories on Busted Open. This is what you get on this show, on this channel. Tell your friends. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern until past noon at this point. Dynamite tonight at the lovely Wintrust Arena. It's Shark Week. The beaches are here.
Huh.
We got to do the preview. I wanted
All right.
to talk about the good guy Osprey story from Fightful Select, but I think we're running a little bit low on time. I do want to say it's a really go check it out if you haven't already. FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business. The story of how the main event from Forbidden Door came together of Osprey versus Swerve Strickland, and one that Will Osprey is just going to win everything on the way to All In. There's some really good stuff in there, so go check out that story. I don't want to spend too much time on it because we got to start moving.
Real quickly, Weissel says that story feels like it needs to be shared, not necessarily to make Ronda look good, but to give more balance to her perception. It's all about experiences with people. Ronda has said she didn't have a good experience in WWE. That's not against Ronda. Her experience there wasn't good. Meanwhile, other people have other experience that they've had good experiences there. Some people might not have had a good experience with Ronda. Ben clearly had a very good experience with Ronda, and Ronda helped her out. So it's all your own experience with people.
Yeah, I've had plenty of conversations with wrestlers and wrestling adjacent people about people that I've spoken to and relationships that maybe I have. And some of those people are like, oh, I can't believe you talked to this person or that person because they do this and that. And I'm like, my experience hasn't been that, unless it's something egregious. And I discover that they've done something completely out of line, cannot be forgiven. I let experiences kind of trump those of others right now. So again, if those people show a different side later on, then I go back and say, okay, fine. But for now, it is experience. It's all experiences. Checking that no one's messaging me about stuff. We're good. AEW Dynamite, Wintrust. Since it's Shark Week, you want to just do it like a California surfer, bro?
Is that what I thought we were saying? Are we going to do this like a shark?
What does a shark sound like?
I don't know.
Someone saying, do Gunter. Do the Kaiser voice. Tonight is beach. No, I can't do it. Then I just sound like Andrew Darian trying to do a vampire.
Was that the Kaiser voice?
No, I don't know what it is anymore. It's a long day.
All right.
Bro, AEW Dynamite presents Beach Break, presented by Discovery Shark Week on TBS, right? 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Are you excited for Beach Break? You should. We did that one last week, bro. I think we're a little late. We're going to see the Owen Hart Foundation tournament semifinals on the men's side as Pac. He goes up against Bryan Danielson. Some people call him the GOAT. I get it. You ever had GOAT before? Tastes really good, bro. Maybe that with a little packed rice. Anyway, with Brian and Pac, they're gonna have a match tonight for the Owen Hart men's semifinals. Okay, and then on the women's side, Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale are gonna have a match. Those two have been kind of having some problems, huh? Willow won a tag match and stuff, so like that's cool, right? So like this is basically like every other podcaster who's just getting started out. And like Chris and Willow are just they're gonna have a really fun match for the Owen Hart Foundation Cup Women's Tournament semifinal. Okay, and back to the men, we have a quarterfinal match. Did you know that they can have matches at different points in the tournament? Well, this is Jeff Jarrett. You know Jeff Jarrett's been around for a really long time. You know that, bro? And he's gonna have a match against the wild card. Who's the wild card, bro? Who do you think the wild card's gonna be? Is it maybe it's gonna be another surfer, bro.
Now that's
If it's DDP, that's the perfect WCW fallback.
full DDP.
Anyway, maybe it's some like drunk cowboy, you know. Maybe it's going to be a drunk cowboy, and Jeff Jarrett's going to have to overcome the drunk cowboy. So that's tonight. Well, Jeff Jarrett versus Wildcat Chris Harris. Wait, no.
Wild card, not Wildcat.
Wild card Chris Harris.
Dude, what if it was Chris Harris though?
What if it was Chris Harris?
But it's got to be the knocking. What was this stupid name? Braden Walker?
Yeah, Braden
right?
Walker. Braden Walker.
Yeah. He's the one who knocks. That's who. There's a kind of a Breaking Bad reference.
Knocking on the wild card door, forbidden wild card door.
Oh, that would be sweet. They got the door set up, and it just you hear the knock. Hold on. I don't know how that sounded, but there's the knocking, and then here comes old Braden Walker coming through. Great.
Something definitely just fell off the table, but I'm sure it's okay.
You sure?
I hope so. You want to round out this preview while I check real quick?
I don't even know where you were in the preview. Okay.
You got the two women in the main event.
Oh,
we'll hear from segments and
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Be right back.
All right. Joel's got to make sure nothing is broken. Look at that face and his avatar there. He looks very confused. Do I have to keep doing the bro stuff? Brah. We got double championship, brah. Double championship celebration. This one like French. Mercedes Monet, brah. She's gonna be celebrating, man. Celebrating with all the crystals. Enjoying crystals and diamonds is only Mercedes. I can't do like a good surfer.
Bro.
There you go.
Something just fell. It was a ghost.
You sound like you're fake high. Like you're in like a film and they tell you, hey, act like you just smoked some weed. And that's how you sound. Like, okay. Like that's how people think that they sound after they smoke, but that's really not it at all.
Well, maybe it's going to be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Okay, you want to get high?
Fuck. Oh, okay. It was Tally. Okay, Tally would be fine.
Oh, well, we'll hear from Dr. Britt Baker, DMD instead.
That's an okay Tally. Yeah.
That's the melody to Funky Town. Won't you take me down to Funky Town? Dr. Britt Baker, bro, we're gonna hear from her, and she's gonna stomp all over the Mercedes Monet's double championship celebration, bro.
Is she? I don't know.
Probably. Feel like they're gonna stomp all over each other.
Okay. Fair. Maybe.
Bro. And then the TBS title's gonna be on the line, and the New Japan title's just gonna be there. That's so high right now. This show, by the way, probably gonna get fully demonetized for the words that have been used that are not swear words. Game over, man. This episode, I've already resigned myself to the fact that we're done. Game over. We've seen enough demonetization on these channels lately. Not going to happen this time. Anyway, we'll hear from Dr. Britt Baker, DMV, man, and the Mercedes Monet has.
Did you know?
Celebration.
No. Did you know that this show is just as big as a pay-per-view?
Or bigger?
Yeah, it's going to be a tremendous show. It's a great show, and it's just as big as a pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view card. I know you just paid for a pay-per-view, but now you're basically getting a pay-per-view card for free.
Well, in the main event is that pay-per-view main event, bro. Is international champion Will Ospreay puts that title on the line against Daniel Garcia. Did you know Will Ospreay is a big old loser? And he's got a title match tonight, bro. He's such a loser. He's gonna go in and he might lose to Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia is not a loser. He's been winning matches and stuff. You know, he beat a guy from Buffalo in Buffalo on
He
Saturday.
beat a butcher.
He beat a butcher. That's pretty great. He's gonna win. He's gonna win the international championship, and then Will Ospreay is gonna he's gonna shave his head, and he's gonna become a Shaolin monk. Yeah, that's right. And then
This bit sucks.
yeah, no, it really does. Anyway,
This impression sucks.
yeah, Shark Week, man.
We should go back to the Yeets.
Yeet. Thank you. AEW Dynamite tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. They're not all going to be good. The episode of Dynamite might be very good, but not all of the previews will be great. Yeet.
Next week. I don't know what we're doing next week. That's too far
I don't even
ahead.
know what we're doing on Friday.
Yeah. Probably not a show. What if I did a solo show on Friday, live from the Hockey Hall of Fame?
It's just live reactions to the cup that's not there.
Well, the fake one. That's fine.
Maybe. Unless the fake one's out with the front office staff. They don't get the real one. Everyone
The
else
Stanley
gets the
Cup
real
better be there.
Why would it be? It's supposed to be out doing the things.
No, but like I'm it's fine if it's the fake one. Like they gotta have a Stanley Cup there, don't they?
They don't have to have anything. Actually, I have been there when the cup wasn't there.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been there when it's been there. Or when it's been gone.
Hold on.
Pretty sure. You're looking up
It
whether or
has-
not it needs to be there.
Yeah, I'm looking it up as if it's gonna be there or not.
Be kind of a useless thing to have them just show up.
I mean, I'm going regardless because I want to see like all the Avs stuff, but
It's just gonna be a bunch of mini Stanley Cups making up a big one.
that's fine. I don't care. How do I know if it's there or not? Like
You show
where's
up on
this-
the day of, and yeah. Will the Stanley Cup be at the Hall of Fame? At the Hockey
exhibition and
Hall of Fame.
interactives.
Let's see. Stanley Cup on display now. Oh, you might get the original Stanley Cup
Yeah, let's go.
on display now. Stanley Cup.
Is it going to be on display tomorrow? That's what I care about. They're just going to take it today or Friday, I guess.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Could be there. Click here to learn more. Photo op. You can get 35% off Fujifilm services.
I'm just using my phone.
Yeah, that's fair. I wonder if anyone stops you from doing that now.
I don't know. Regardless, I'm going, so like it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't. If it's there, it's there. I hope they gotta have some type of version there. It'd be fine.
Yeah, you'll be all right. Listen, what we're gonna do, we're gonna let everyone know what we're gonna do in terms of a Friday / maybe Saturday show, and keep you all updated. I would like to do something this weekend with Jeremy and maybe other friends from the wrestling sphere if they want to join. But yeah, we're kind of trying to figure it out now because the junket is Friday, and that's gonna eat into our time.
We will figure something out. I assume we will do Saturday morning. That's what I think.
Yeah, and it will be the lead in to Grapsity. So it won't be during Grapsity. And because Grapsity doesn't actually start at noon, they start at like 12:15, 12:30 sometimes. We probably get away with doing it. So we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen, and we'll let everyone know via socials what we're going to do. Who knows? Maybe we'll even use the community tab on this particular channel so that y'all can get notified that it's happening. So until then, we're back sometime soon. Jeremy's going to be with me soon, and we'll have a lot of content from that. It's just going to be photos. Sami Zayn show is going to be fun. We're going to talk.
We should do a vlog, Joel.
A vlog? Oh, who's going to edit it? Who's going to cut it down? I ain't paying no one to edit this.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
I don't
the
want to do
problem.
that either.
Thanks again to Kristara and Ben Ortmanns for joining us this morning. This was a lot of fun. Had a good show. Had a lot to talk about. Friends, we'll be back soon enough. Till then, for Jeremy, I am Joel Pearl, JOELBEARL. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Where's my mouse cursor? Cheers.